Chapter 100. Aliens List. Short List. 001 Heat Blast, Pyronite. 002 Four Arms, Tetramand. 003 Diamond Head, Petrosapian. 004 Gray Matter, Galvan. 005 Upgrade, Galvanic Mechamorph. 006 Wild Mutt, Vulpamancer. 007 Stinkfly, Lepidopteran. 008 Ghost Freak, Ectonurite. 009 Ripjaws, Pisxisvalan. 010 XLR8, Kinoceleran. 011 Wrath, Apoplexian. 012 Ditto, Splixen. 013 Jet Ray, Aerophibian. 014 Feedback, Conductoid. 015 Overflow, Cascan. 016 Slug, Limax. 017 Krob, Pisxis Preman. 018 1010 Sodaragian. 019 Buzzshock, Nosodinian. 020 Sandman, Sandarian. 021 Icepick, Antarxis. 022 Two Tails, Telemate. 023 Gax, Chimera Sui Generis. 024 Cannonbolt, Arburian Pelorota. 025 Cloak, Umbrament. 026 Vulcan, Detravite. 027 Ultimos, TK. 028 Squid, Armacanian Squadron. 029 Swampfire, Methanosian. 030 Big Chill, Necrophrygian. 031 Brainstorm, Cerebrocrustacean. 032 Chromostone, Crystalcipian. 033 Echo Sonorosian. 034 Goop Polymorph. 035 Lodestar, Biosavortian. 036 Spider Monkey, Arachnikimp. 037 Humongosaur, Vaxasaurian. 038 Alien X, Celestialcipian. 039 Chameleon, Merlinosapian. 040 Upchuck, Merc-Gourmand. 041 Edel Oryctini. 042 Fast Track, Citricaia. 043 Jury Rig, Planchicule. 044 Terraspin, Geochelonario. 045 NRG, Pripiatosian B. 046 Water Hazard, Orishon. 047 Armadillo, Talpedon. 048 Amphibian, Amperi. 049 Andromed Elemental Hybrid. 050 Osmosian. 051 Wildvine, Florauna. To be continued. Full list. / 001 Heat Blast / Species, Pyronite. Homeworld, Pyros. DNA source, unknown. Body, fiery humanoid. Height, 6 feet 0 inches, 1.83 meters. / appearance / Heat Blast is a burning hot humanoid blue color alien with plates of black heated rock covering his torso, arms, and face. His body is made of incredibly hot plasma energy. His uniform consists of specialized black and blue shorts. His feet have a slight oval-like design with only 2 toes and 1 back toe. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities / Pyrokinesis. Heat Blast has the ability to produce and manipulate intense heat and fire from his body. He can form fire into any shape that he chooses, commonly fireballs. He is also capable of breathing fire and enhancing his punches with fire. Heat generation. Heat Blast can generate enough heat to melt a tank, or melt the ground to trap his enemies. Heat absorption. Heat Blast can absorb fire or heat that comes in contact with him. Explosive fire. Heat Blast can make his fire more explosive for extra power and increases his area of attack. Pyrokinetic flight. Heat Blast can release fire through his hands and feet to propel himself off the ground, like a jetpack. Limited pyroportation. Heat Blast is capable of teleporting small distances by covering himself in a swirl of smoke, This is usually used to dodge incoming attacks. Supernova creation. When angered, Heat Blast is able to reach supernova-level temperatures that can amplify the heat to the point of vaporizing water and melt rocks. Fire immunity. Being made of solar plasma and hot rocks, Heat Blast is immune to flames, magma, and other forms of heat. Ice immunity. Heat Blast is also cold-resistant and ice-proof thanks to the heat he generates. Enhanced strength. Heat Blast is noticeably much stronger than a human. Enhanced durability. Heat Blast is very durable and can survive being thrown through multiple buildings at high speed, as well as laser blasts. Limited Terrakinesis. Heat Blast is capable of limited terrakinesis by channeling fire through the ground. He has the ability to surf through the air on a board of rock. // weaknesses / Extinguishment. When exposed to a substance that can extinguish fire, he won't die, but his fire abilities are suppressed. Crabdozer. The Crabdozer is a Pyronite's natural predator. / 002. Forearms / Species, Tetramand. Homeworld, Koros. DNA source, unknown. Body, four-armed humanoid. Height, 12 feet 0 inches, 3.66 meters. / appearance / Forearms is a humanoid alien that is approximately 12 feet tall, has well-developed muscles, 2 pairs of arms with 4-fingered hands, and red skin. A bald head, and he has 4 dark blue eyes, a main pair, and a smaller pair below them. Forearms wears a blue t-shirt with a black line going down it, black pants, and gloves. Forearms wears the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. / abilities / Enhanced strength. Forearms has immense strength that can lift objects several 50 tons. Sonic clap. Forearms can smack his hands together to send a powerful shockwave in the direction of his choosing. Enhanced durability. Forearms has high durability due to his tough and thorny skin. Enhanced reflexes. Forearms has very strong reflexes, as is capable of catching missiles midair and redirecting them in a single motion. Shockwaves. Forearms can create shockwaves by smashing his fists onto the ground, which are strong enough to send his enemies flying. Heat resistance. Due to his tough and thorny skin, Forearms is almost fireproof and laserproof. / weaknesses / Lack of speed. Due to Forearms' massive size, he can't run as fast as most of Lex's other transformations. / equipment / Sword of Tetramand. Large two-handed sword, has a length of 220 centimeters and a weight of 360 kilograms. Crafted from adamantium, which gives strength and durability, from lamantius, which reduces weight and gives a good balance. And from xantium, will give the sword an incredible sharpness. A cyber crystal is inserted into the guard, thanks to which a laser edge can be created. The set includes a bracelet with which can return the sword to hands. / 003. Diamond head / Species, Petrosapien. Homeworld, Petropia. DNA source, unknown. Body, crystalline humanoid. Height, 7 feet 0 inches, 2.13 meters. / appearance / Diamond Head is a crystalline humanoid alien with turquoise skin and blue eyes with 2 protruding crystal spikes off his back. Its head has a triangular nape. He wears a dark blue bodysuit. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities / Crystallokinesis. Diamond Head's body, made nearly entirely of tatanite, crystal-like material, can shapeshift in an assortment of methods. He can also grow additional crystals for weapons and tools, or at a faster rate for a projectile. He can also use this ability to regenerate injuries or lost limbs. He can also encase beings inside his crystals by touching them. He can also make his crystal projectiles have different effects, such as exploding or encasing enemies in crystals. Energy redirection. Diamond Head's crystalline body allows him to both deflect and absorb energy and light. Enhanced physiology. Diamond Head's crystalline body is still incredibly strong, durable, and resistant to harmful substances like fire, acid, and the vacuum of space. He is also able to survive aging effects such as time rays. ///weaknesses / Regeneration limit. Diamond Head has a limit to how much he can regenerate. Scatterable body. Diamond Head might shatter if hit with enough force or with sonic waves. Heat resistance limit. Diamond Head has a limit to how much heat he can withstand. Sound attacks. Diamond Head can be damaged if enough sonic power is dealt. ///04.grey matter / Species, Galvan. Homeworld, Galvan Prime. DNA source, azimuth. Body, humanoid frog. Height, 0 feet 6 inches, 15.25 centimeters. // appearance / Gray matter is a small, frog-like humanoid with gray skin and big blue eyes. Gray matter wears a blue, white, and black bodysuit. Gray matter, along with other Galvans, has two brains. One for basic activities and the other for knowledge and skills. Gray matter blinks horizontally instead of vertically. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his back. // abilities / Enhanced intelligence. Gray matter has a very high intelligence, 1000 IQ, allowing Lex to think more critically and logically in this form. Gray matter's brain capacity makes Lex smarter about things he's never even seen before. Technological skills. Gray matter works very well with machines, and can dismantle and build things as he pleases. Small-sized gray matter is small, which allows him to get through or inside places that most larger species cannot. Wall climbing. Gray matter's microscopic pads on his skin allow him to climb walls. Universal translation. Gray matter has been to understand complex and even foreign languages just by hearing them. Underwater breathing. Gray matter is capable of surviving underwater. Sharp teeth. Gray matter can cause a decent amount of damage with his teeth. // weaknesses / Small-sized gray matter's small size can make it hard for him to fight in certain situations, and making it easy for him to either be captured or put in a corner. Omnivoracious. The omnivoracious is a Galvan's natural predator. Fragile body. Gray matter's body is not very durable, being weak to even the basics of attacks from most species larger than him. // 005. Upgrade // Species, Galvanic Mechamorph. Homeworld, Galvan B. DNA source, unknown. Body, technological humanoid. Height, 6 feet 5 inches, 1.95 meters. // appearance // Upgrade has a humanoid shape covered in shiny blue metal. Selective parts, including his head and back, are covered in a deep, reflective black. There are glowing blue circuitry patterns over the black sections. His one eye is detailed with a cricket-like pupil, with no other facial features. Upgrade's body is made up of billions of small cell-like creatures called nanites. The nanites are what allow Upgrade to reshape and move like a liquid even though he's a solid being. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. // abilities / Technological update. Upgrade can be merged with any type of technology, both electronic and non-electronic, control it and even update it at will. Upgrade can also fuse with sentient beings that are mechanical in nature, such as chronosopians. Technological manipulation. Upgrade is capable of shifting and controlling technology, such as the RV, into having armor and heavy weaponry. Shapeshifting. Upgrade can change the shape of his body, allowing him to stretch his body or mimic weaponry thanks to the nanoswarm that makes up his body. Machinery takeover. Upgrade can absorb and take over different machines, and use them later. Enhanced strength. Upgrade has immense strength capable of overpowering his enemies. This attribute can even be increased if he is fused with technology. Plasma beam. Upgrade is able to fire a plasma beam from his eye by energizing his biomechanical blood. Weapon mimicry upgrade is capable of shape-shifting his arms as weapons, such as maces or hammers. Electrokinesis upgrade is capable of discharging electrical currents to stun and immobilize his enemies. Regeneration upgrade can constantly regenerate and repair himself with no pain. Machinery regeneration upgrade can repair damaged machinery easily. Space survivability, due to being inorganic, upgrade can survive in the vacuum of space. // weaknesses // Electromagnetic pulses. An electromagnetic pulse can disrupt upgrade's physical form. Electricity-based attacks can disrupt upgrade's techno-organic body because he's living metal. Techno-organic viruses. Since upgrade is partially technology, he is susceptible to being corrupted by viruses. Acid upgrade can be harmed by acid. / equipment / Improved Vilgax Gigantic Drone upgrade took over a Vilgax Gigantic Drone, and after improved it with a plumber's collection of alien guns. Quinjet upgrade found old and broken plumber's Quinjet and took over and improved it. / 006 Wildmut / Species, Vulpimancer. Homeworld, Vulpin. DNA source, unknown. Body, dog-like. Height, 5 feet 7 inches, 1.70 meters. / appearance / Wildmutt is an alien with an animalistic and dog-like body. He has no eyes, orange fur, and gills on the sides of his neck. He has a long orange tail with darker stripes at the end of it. Wildmutt wears only black and blue shorts that cover his genitals. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities / Enhanced sensing. Wildmutt skills have enhanced senses to a point where he can smell or hear to find his opponents easily. Enhanced agility. Wildmutt has enhanced agility that allows him to run, jump and climb at an inhuman rate. He is highly acrobatic and gymnastic. Enhanced strength. Wildmutt has enough strength to rip off the hood of a car with his sharp claws or teeth. Enhanced speed / quadrupedalism. Wildmutt can run in 4 legs, which makes him much faster than most beings. Sharp teeth. Wildmutt's teeth are strong enough to rip metal and shatter rock. Sharp claws. Wildmutt's claws are sharp and strong enough to rip metal and other objects. Enhanced durability. Wildmutt has a high tolerance to hard impacts, such as falling right onto cars and denting them without serious injury. Enhanced reflexes. Wildmutt possesses reflexes similar to an ape, being able to move from side to side and dodge projectiles easily. Enhanced digging. Wildmutt is capable of digging through concrete at very fast speeds. Wall climbing. Wildmutt can use his claws to climb vertical surfaces. / weaknesses / Sensory overwhelming. Wildmutt senses can be overwhelmed, such as a high-pitched sound or a strong smell. Speech incapability. Due to the Vulpimancer language being indecipherable by universal translators in Omnitrix, Wildmutt can't speak English, putting Lex at a communication disadvantage whenever he turns into this alien. / 007 Stinkfly / Species, Lepidopteran. Homeworld, Lepidoptera. DNA source, unknown. Body, winged insectoid. Height, 7 feet 2 inches, 2.20 meters. / appearance / Stinkfly has an insect-like body with a blue exoskeleton. He wears a blue, black, and white bodysuit covering his torso and tail. Stinkfly has 2 insect wings, 4 legs, 2 arms, 4 eyes, and a sharp tail with a stinger-like. Stinkfly's stink comes from the oils he secretes to keep his exoskeleton joints moving. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities / Flight. Stinkfly has 2 wings that can carry him at fast speeds and can change directions quickly. Slime projection. Stinkfly can shoot a green adhesive from his eyes and mouth. Along with its sticking properties, this adhesive is highly flammable, and can explode if it comes into contact with an open flame. Stinkfly's slime feels like a mix of rubber cement and warm oatmeal. Sharp tail. Stinkfly's tail is sharp with a stinger-like end that can pierce through substances such as steel. Enhanced durability. Stinkfly possesses an incredibly durable exoskeleton, able to withstand numerous attacks while still being light enough to not hinder his flight. 360 degrees vision. Stinkfly has 360 vision as he can move his 4 eyes in different directions. Enhanced agility. Stinkfly can move in the air with enough agility to dodge projectiles and attacks with ease. Enhanced reflexes. Stinkfly can dodge projectiles midair at fast speeds. Enhanced strength. Stinkfly has enough strength to lift people like Vilgax in the air. Wall crawling. Stinkfly is capable of crawling walls thanks to his insect-like biology. // weaknesses // Fragile wings. Stinkfly's wings can be weakened if they are covered or wet. Toxic chemicals. Stinkfly can be damaged by various poisonous gases and chemicals. Bug lizard. The bug lizard is the natural predator of Stinkfly and can cause Stinkfly a hard time to defeat him. // 008 Ghost freak / Species, Ectoneurite. Homeworld, Anerphetos. DNA source, Zayscare. Body, ghost-like. Height, 6 feet 2 inches, 1.88 meters. / appearance / Ghost freak is a phantom/ghost-like alien with a gaseous appearance and claw-like hands, and gray skin with black lines running all over him. He has a single green eye, which can move along its black cracks. His skin is removable with black and white striped tentacles underneath it. The Omnitrix symbol is located on one of his tentacles and can be seen in a crack on his left pec. / abilities / Intangibility. Ghost freak can turn his molecules intangible and phase through objects. Levitation. Ghost freak can move about without needing to touch the ground, and can float as high as he chooses. Body possession. Ghost freak can phase into anyone's nervous system and control their actions. Tentacles. Ghost freak can peel back the skin on his stomach and use his tentacles to scare his opponents. Space survivability. Ghost freak can survive in the vacuum of space because he's alive in a more unconventional sense. Night vision. Ghost freak has the ability to see in absolute darkness without any problem. Sharp claws. Ghost freak's fingers are razor-sharp bones protruding out of his skin. Invisibility. Ghost freak can cloak himself to be undetectable by the naked eye. Protective and removable skin. Ghost freak can peel back his skin and show his true appearance underneath. Mana absorption immunity. Ghost freak cannot have his mana absorbed as ectoneurites have no mana due to not being alive in a conventional sense. Corrodium immunity. Ghost freak is immune to the negative effects of corrodium. / weaknesses / Zayscare. The consciousness of the Zayscare is still preserved in the DNA, which is constantly trying to take control of the host's body. Brainless opponents. Ghost freak cannot possess bodies without a brain. Intense sunlight. If his inner layer of skin is exposed, he can be killed by intense sunlight. Intangible opponents. If a foe turns intangible, they can touch Ghost freak while he is intangible. / 009 Ripjaws / Species, Pisxis valan. Homeworld, Pisxis. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid angler fish. Height, 6 feet 5 inches, 1.98 meters. / appearance / Ripjaws is an angler fish-like creature with a humanoid body, share a number of traits with Earth's aquatic life, such as an alligator, an eel, an anglerfish, and a shark. He can change between a fishtail with triangular lines or legs at will. Ripjaws has gray skin, large blue fins, a blur anglerfish-like lure, 2 sets of 2 gill-like slits on her chest, and blue narrow eyes. He wears a black and blue suit. He has 2 thin green lines on her loincloth with a zigzag pattern that points upwards. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. ////abilities ////. Glowing lure. Like angler fish, Ripjaws has a bioluminescent lure to see in the dark. His eyes are also able to glow. Tail formation. Ripjaw's legs can morph into a tail fin for extra speed and mobility in the water. Underwater breathing. Ripjaw's gills allow him to breathe underwater. Enhanced swimming. Ripjaw's webbed feet and hands make him very suitable for swimming. Enhanced strength. Ripjaws have enhanced strength, being able to easily punch a hole in a dock. Strong bite force. Ripjaws have a very high bite force, allowing him to bite through substances like metal. Razor-sharp claws. His claws can tear apart even metal substances and can help him grab onto surfaces. Mouth expansion. Ripjaws is capable of expanding his mouth to fit objects and to bite more area. Enhanced speed. Ripjaws have enhanced speed in water, which is enough to follow a missile. // weaknesses // Dehydration. Ripjaws can't survive long without water on his own. High temperatures. Even when submerged in water, Ripjaws can be damaged by high temperatures. // 010 XLR8 // Species, Kineceleran. Home world, Kinet. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid velociraptor. Height, 5 feet 6 inches, 1.68 meters. // appearance // XLR8 has a velociraptor humanoid body. He has blue skin and black markings around his body and eyes. XLR8 has a tail that is striped in blue and black. He has 3 claw-like fingers and ball-shaped feet. He wears a black, blue, and white bodysuit. He has a visor that he can flip down when running to avoid getting bugs and debris in his eyes. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. // abilities // Extreme speed. XLR8 is able to run at extremely fast speeds. The more he grows, the faster he gets. His top speeds can make him seem invisible to the human eye. He is fast enough to create vortexes and run on walls. He can dodge both lightning and laser blasts and patrol the entire planet Earth within a matter of seconds. Enhanced reflexes. XLR8 can dodge and counter attacks at incredibly fast speeds. He can casually dodge and evade both lightning bolts and laser blasts, and come to a complete stop while running almost instantly. Enhanced durability. XLR8 is physiologically adapted to withstand extremely fast speeds very easily, giving you great durability. Even if you hit very hard objects at high speed on purpose or by mistake, you will only be slightly stunned. Enhanced recovery. XLR8 recovers faster than the most aliens, recovering from negative effects such as stunning, phasing, poison, sleep, pain, flinching, being knocked down / backward, losing balance, fatigue, overstretching, being knocked unconscious, etc., but not lost limbs or loss of flesh. Accelerated thinking. XLR8 can process information at such speeds that time appears to have slowed down. // weaknesses // Speed prohibitors. XLR8 speed does not work on all surfaces such as ice and/or strong adhesives. Momentum. If XLR8 goes too fast, the momentum will overcome him and cause him to be unable to turn directions as well. Vulnerable tail. XLR8 can be restrained if someone or something holds his tail down. Poor strength. XLR8 has a normal human strength, which pales in comparison to his other abilities. // 011 Wrath // Species, Apoplexian. Homeworld, Apoplexia. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid tiger. Height, 9 feet 1 inch, 2.77 meters. // appearance // Wrath is a tall tiger with a humanoid body. He resembles an orange and white bipedal tiger, without a tail. He is also muscular and has blue eyes and black stripes on his shoulders, head, legs, and upper body, as well as a white jaw, neck, chest, stomach, hands, and feet. Wrath wears black pants with white tiger-esque stripes on the thighs with a white and blue design on the legs. He has 2 claws protruding from his knuckles that can expand in size. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities ////. Enhanced strength. Wrath is strong enough to lift large earth formations. Sharp claws. Wrath's hands each have one large claw that can extend. Combat techniques. Wrath is quite skilled in combat. Increased regeneration. Wrath has increased regeneration, allowing him to recover at a faster rate. In a pinch, he is able to regrow a limb. Anger empowerment. The more Wrath gets angry close around Berserker Rage, the more his natural abilities will increase exponentially. Enhanced durability. Wrath has great durability to the point that it can survive a drop of thousands of meters with only some pain. Enhanced senses. Wrath's senses of smell and hearing are superior to humans. Strong teeth. Wrath's teeth are strong enough to shatter metal. Powerful roar. Wrath can release a powerful roar which can stun certain enemies when off guard. Enhanced speed / quadrupedalism. Wrath can run on all fours to improve his speed. / weaknesses / Hydrophobia. Being a feline-based transformation, Wrath is highly afraid of water. Feline control. Being a feline-based alien, Wrath can be controlled by people who have the ability to control the feline species. Sensitive hearing. Wrath's hearing is very sensitive to some types of sonic frequencies. / 012. Ditto / Species, Splixen. Homeworld, Hathor. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid. Height, 3 feet 2 inches, 1.00 meters. / appearance ///. Ditto is a small, rubbery alien. He has 3 fins protruding from the top of his head and both sides on his face. His body is covered in a black, blue, and white color scheme with 3 nodes on his stomach. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities ///. Self-duplication. Ditto is capable of duplicating himself over and over again in a seemingly unlimited number of times, and each clone is independent. Telepathy. Clones. Ditto has the ability to telepathically communicate with his clones. Sensory web. The white nodes on Ditto's stomach are extended sensor nodes that assist the sensory web that connected all of Ditto's clones. The sensory web allows clones to share senses and physical sensations, such as pain. Underwater breathing. Ditto can breathe underwater. Enhanced digging. Ditto can dig into the ground and come out like a mole. / weaknesses //. Linked nervous system. If one Ditto gets hurt or killed, all of them do. Transformation block. Ben can't change back into human form or into another alien if the clones aren't in the same area. Penunciant. Penunicans are Ditto's natural predator and also possess self-duplication abilities. / 013. Jetray ///. Species, Amphibian. Homeworld, Arapila. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid manta ray. Height, 7 feet 0 inches, 2.15 meters. / appearance //. Jetray is a red, humanoid manta ray-like alien with blue eyes, tall tail, black outlines on his face, yellow horns extending from his nose, gills underneath his arms, yellow wings which he uses to fly and glide through water, and 2 black lightning bolt-like stripes coming down from his shoulders to the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. He wears black shorts and shoulder pads, with a blue pattern. / abilities //. Flight. Jetray can extend his arms to allow him to fly, and can do so at great speeds with the help of energy propulsion. At times, Jetray can even hit hyperspeed while flying, but can only do so in space due to the wind resistance of most planets. Hyperspace entrance. Jetray's high-speed flight can allow him to go into hyperspace, which means he can travel across interstellar distances in moments. Underwater and land survivability. Jetray has the ability to breathe underwater and on land. Neuroshock blasts. Jetray can shoot neuroshock beams from his eyes and his tail. Space survivability, Jet Ray is able to hold enough air/water in his body to survive in space for a long while. Enhanced strength, Jet Ray is strong enough to lift heavy objects or beings through the air without any signs of fatigue. Enhanced durability, Jet Ray is durable enough to withstand multiple blows from Vilgax and gunfire from a fighter jet. Prehensile feet and tail, Jet Ray can use these limbs to grab objects or people with ease. Radiation immunity, Jet Ray is immune to the lethal effects of radiation. // weaknesses // Neuroshock beam reflection, Jet Ray can be damaged by his own neuroshock blasts. Restricted land movement, Jet Ray can't walk very well due to his body being more built for flying. Ledger domain, Jet Ray cannot fly in ledger domain. / 014. Feedback // Species, conductoid. Homeworld, Teslavore Nebula. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid. Height, 7 feet 0 inches, 2.15 meters. / appearance // Feedback has a black body with one blue eye in the middle of his head, 2 antennae, a tail with round plugs on their tips, 4-fingered hands, and feet with only 2 front toes. Feedback had a blur chest color and round plugs on the tips of his fingers. Feedback wears the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. / abilities // Energy absorption, Feedback can absorb various types of energy from the holes in his fingers to a limited extent. Physical ability booster, although Feedback already has enhanced physical abilities, he can improve all of his physical abilities by choosing to constantly absorb energy. Electrical charges, Feedback is able to release electrical charges in the form of ranged attacks or to empower his punches. Elastic tendrils, Feedback is capable of stretching the tendrils in his head for more range. Energy release, Feedback can release energy stored in his body from the plug-like tendrils on his head. Radio signal sensing, Feedback is able to sense nearby radio signals using his tendrils. Enhanced agility, Feedback can quickly move out of the way of attacks and projectiles with great reflexes. Enhanced strength, Feedback has enough strength to break a boulder. Enhanced durability, Feedback is shown to have great durability from giant malware blast at close range and being thrown against wall with great force. Enhanced speed / quadrupedalism, Feedback can run on all fours to improve his speed. Immunity to electricity / electricity immunity, Feedback's physiology is adapted to withstand large amounts of electricity, making it immune to the negative effects of electricity. Space survivability, due to Feedback's home world being a nebula and not a planet, Feedback can survive in space. / weaknesses // Limited energy, Feedback does not have limitless energy, though the Omnitrix automatically provides him with some energy. This can run out, in which case he will have to recharge because the energy within him will deplete with use. Energy absorption limit, Feedback has a limit to how much energy he can hold at once. Absorbing more energy past this limit requires him to discharge some energy first. Vulnerable tendrils, Feedback's tendrils can be easily pulled on, causing him great discomfort and leaving him stuck in place. / 015. Overflow // Species, Cascan. Homeworld, Cascaro. DNA source, unknown. Body, robotic humanoid. Height, 5 feet 6 inches, 1.68 meters. / appearance // Overflow is a red metallic alien. He has 2 containers filled with water on his head and has black mask-like markings around his green eyes. He has 2 tubes of water reaching from a respirator where his mouth should be to his back, and his forearms are filled with water. He has black 3-fingered hands and 2 black toes on each foot. Cascan's true appearance is that of a small water spirit, an incarcerated bio-robot suit. Overflow wears the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. / abilities / Hydrokinesis, the water spirit inside the armor produces water, which is stored inside the containers on the alien's arms. This water, Kaskan can use to attack and control it. Water absorption overflow can fill its containers with external water, and then use it in the same way as its own water. Hydrokinetic flight. By firing high-pressure water from his hands, Overflow is capable of limited flight. Underwater breathing/speed swimming. Overflow's construction allows him to breathe underwater. Using the same principle as for flight, Overflow is responsible for speed swimming. Reading water weapons. Overflow can create weapons out of his water, such as blades and whips. Enhanced strength. Overflow has a degree of enhanced strength, thanks to an armored exoskeleton. Enhanced durability. Overflow has enhanced durability thanks to an armored exoskeleton that protects his body from damage. His armor is made of serpent glass, which is virtually invincible. He can also withstand strong water pressure. Enhanced speed. Overflow also has amazing agility and speed, especially underwater. And again, all thanks to the armored exoskeleton. Limited cryokinesis. Overflow has a small degree of cryokinesis, as he can create structures made of ice. ////weaknesses // Vulnerability to water-conducted electricity. If Overflow shoots water at an electric device, he can be shocked while shooting, since water conducts electricity. Vulnerability to magic. Overflow can be harmed by magic. Flooding. Overflow can accidentally cause a flood in confined spaces if he releases too much water. Durability limit. Armored exoskeleton has a tensile strength, and it is still possible to break it, which will harm the water spirit inside. Stamina limit. Water production requires internal energy. If overdo it and use up all the energy, it will be impossible to build a fight and create more water. Inability to use external water. To use hydrokinesis, Overflow needs to saturate the water with its energy. Without this, water management is impossible. ////016. Slug ///// Species, Limax. Homeworld, Limaxia. DNA source, Limax from Antverus City. Body, semi-humanoid blob. Height, 6 feet 2 inches, 1.88 meters. // appearance // Slug is a semi-humanoid blob, mostly green in color with dirty pink-colored organs. They have multiple eyes and they have no definite appearance, often having extra arms, fin-like protrusions, or misshapen body parts. Slug is wearing black pants with a blue pattern and the same boots. The Omnitrix symbol wears on his chest. // // abilities // Shapeshifting. Slug can take the form of any person, animal and alien, but without gaining unique abilities. Enhanced flexibility / elasticity. Slug may alter form even while retaining a human-like appearance, giving them enhanced flexibility and the ability to stretch their limbs great distances. Enhanced strength. Slug is very strong and capable of lifting and throwing heavy objects, such as a car, with ease. Enhanced speed. Slug is able to run and keep pace with a golf cart at its maximum speed. Wall scaling. Slug is fairly agile and can cling to walls and ceilings with relative ease. Pyro immunity / heat empowerment. Slug gains strength from heat. Regeneration. Slug can regenerate and return to normal, regardless of the damage received. // weaknesses // Hydrophobia / vulnerability to water. Limax are deathly afraid of water, as it is like acid to them and causes them to smolder and melt, though they can still recover unless repeatedly doused in it. // 017. Crab / Species, cybernetically enhanced Pisxis preman. Homeworld, Pisxis. DNA source, Crab, the bounty hunter. Body, robotic humanoid crab. Height, 9 feet 1 inch, 2.77 meters. // appearance // Crab resembled a fiddler crab with dark blue-colored armor, a sideways mouth, for scythe-like legs and a large, powerful pincer for a left hand. Within the pincer was a power blaster combined with a chemical sprayer. 95% of his body is mechanical and 5% is Pisces Preman. The Omnitrix symbol wears on his chest. / // abilities / Enhanced strength. Cybernetic enhancements give Krob great strength, allowing him to smash rocks to rubble. Enhanced durability. The armor gives Krob increased durability, allowing him to take a lot of damage. Laser / electric beams. Krob is a big powerful claw, which he can fire laser and electric beams. Gas generation. From the same claw, Krob can release chemical compounds as a gas, with different effects. Rotating legs / enhanced digging. Krob can rotate his legs at high speed, and use them like a drill to dig into the ground. Subterranean mobility. Thanks to his previous ability, Krob is able to travel long distances underground. Thermal vision / 360-degree head rotation. Krob possesses thermographic vision, and is capable of turning his head around 360 degrees. / weaknesses / Powered down. A Krob is more robotic than organic, meaning it is possible to tamper with his systems, causing him to lose control of himself and deactivate himself. Vulnerable to electricity. Krob is vulnerable to electricity because of the electronics in his body. / equipment / Arsenal. Krob is armed to the teeth with state-of-the-art weapons. / 018 1010 / Species, Sodoragian. Homeworld, Sodarag. DNA source, 66, the Bounty Hunter. Body, humanoid mutant horse. / appearance / 1010 wears a suit of dark blue armor. In his armor, 1010's feet are hooved. He has blue pads covering his central joints, a belt, and 4 central lines on his helmet to provide outlines for his face, which are his eyes and mouth. When his black and blue mask is broken, it reveals an ugly, mutant, gray-yellow creature with pink and gray robotic eyes and 4 arms. The Omnitrix symbol wears on his chest. / abilities / Guns / weapon proficiency. 1010 is a weapons expert. He is an excellent shooter. Miniature hands. 1010 has little arms on his shoulders that he uses to throw his pikes and grenades when using his blasters. Enhanced strength. 1010 has great strength, allowing you to tear metal with your bare hands. Enhanced agility. 1010's agility and reaction, far superior to that of a human, is his main feature. Enhanced durability. 1010's durability is boosted by his armor and allows him to take a lot of damage. Space survivability. 1010's armor has built-in life support systems allowing him to survive in space. / weaknesses / Vulnerable to electricity. 1010 is vulnerable to electricity, as this can harm the internal systems of the armor. Vulnerable jetpack. The jetpack can be damaged by the enemy. This can reduce 1010's maneuverability. Ammunition limited. 1010's arsenal may end in a protracted battle. To make up for the ammunition, Lex will have to transform again. / equipment / Arsenal. 1010's armor has pouches which contain weapons like machine guns, twin blaster pistols, electric discs, an energy buzzsaw, metal pikes, a whip, an energy sword, a sonic weapon, grenades, rockets, and some mounted laser guns built into his jetpack. All this is somehow replenished by the Omnitrix. Jetpack. 1010 has a jetpack that allows him to fly at high speeds. / 019 Buzzshock / Species, Nosedenian. Homeworld, Nosedene Quasar. DNA source, Sparksville Megawatt. Body, humanoid battery. Height, 1 foot 64 inches, 50 centimeters. / appearance / Buzzshock's appearance is similar to an Earth dry cell. He is black with blue eyes, a blue large lightning bolt-like stripe spanning from where his neck starts to where his legs start on his front and back sides, and a positive, plus, symbol and negative, symbol on his back. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / // abilities / Electrokinesis Buzzshock is able to release electricity from his body, as well as absorb it from outer sources. Electrical teleportation, he can travel through electrical power lines for light speed transport. Technopathy Buzzshock can inhabit electrical devices and control them from the inside. Duplication Buzzshock can duplicate himself after absorbing enough energy. Enhanced Agility Buzzshock has enhanced agility, augmented by electricity. Flight Buzzshock can use his powers to seamlessly fly, leaving an electric trail behind. Enhanced Strength Buzzshock is surprisingly strong for his size, being able to lift a human at least by their underwear. Sonic Scream Buzzshock can emit a sonic scream capable of shattering glass, as demonstrated by other Nosodinians. / weaknesses / Limited Energy Buzzshock can tire out and fall asleep after using too much energy. / 020 Sandman / Species, Sandarian. Homeworld, Sandora. DNA source, unknown. Body, Sand humanoid. Height, 8 feet 2 inches, 2.5 meters. / appearance / Sandman is a humanoid pile of yellow sand. On the chest, shoulders and face of the Sandman are black plates with a blue pattern, which help him to fully control his sandy body. The Omnitrix symbol is located in his chest plate. / abilities / Sand control. Sandman can control any sand, both external and own. Sand tamping. The Sandman can change the density of his sand and make it harder than stone. Body change. Being a shapeless pile of sand, Sandman can freely control and change his own body. Turning earth into sand. The Sandman can soften the nearest earth and turn it into sand. / weaknesses / Large amount of water. Water can wet the sand and the Sandman will lose control of it. Worst case scenario, it could kill him. Huge temperatures. Too much heat can melt the sand and turn it into glass, which is beyond the Sandman's control. / 021 Icepick / Species, Antarctic. Homeworld, Frostibia. DNA source, unknown. Body, ice humanoid. Height, 6 feet 3 inches, 1.92 meters. / appearance / Icepick's entire body was made of blue ice. There are spikes on the arms and back, and instead of hair, there is also solid ice on the head. On the face was a mask, more like a respirator. The Icepick is dressed in a black and white jumpsuit. The mark of the Omnitrix, as always, was in the center of his chest. / abilities / Cryokinesis. The Icepick is able to create and control very cold ice. Regeneration. The Icepick is able to recover from damage due to his icy physiology. Body change. The Icepick is able to change his hands and give them the shape of various weapons, from swords to maces. Temperature drop. Icepick can create an icy mist that can lower the temperature of the environment. Ice surfing. Icepick movement method. By creating an ice carpet under his feet, he is able to move at high speeds. No pain. He completely feels no pain, which can be a good advantage in battle. Cold virus. When touched, he can infect others with a cold virus, which first weakens, and then freezes enemies to death. Enhanced features. The Icepick is several times stronger, more agile and enduring than an ordinary person. / weaknesses / Huge temperatures. The high heat can melt all of the Icepick's ice and kill it. / 22.2 tails / Species, telemate. Homeworld, Omicron Icarus nova. DNA source, unknown. Body, humanoid. Height, 3 feet 2 inches, 1 meters. / appearance /. Two Tails is a small, ape-like humanoid with two tails. Its coat is mostly yellow, but has black spots all over its body like a cheetah's. Two Tails wearing a black and blue bodysuit provided by the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix symbol is located on his chest. / abilities / Teleportation, main ability of telemates. For teleportation, the Two Tails uses its internal energy. The ability allows him to move to any place where Lex has been before, just need to imagine where you need to go. The teleportation limit is the reserve of energy. At what distance is enough energy, for this he can move. In Lex's case, that limit is the entire solar system. Long tails, the tails of the Two Tails can change size and stretch up to 5 meters. The tails themselves are flexible and tenacious, and he can control his tails as well as his arms, so they act as extra limbs. The strength of the tails themselves is equal to the strength of the arms of the Two Tails. Enhanced acrobatics. As an ape-like humanoid, the Two Tails has a flexible and acrobatic body that allows him to move quickly and agilely. / weaknesses / Small physical characteristics. Initially, the bodies of telemates are rather weak and fragile. Portability limit. Two Tails can teleport with him, only what he can pick up. Energy limit. If the Two Tails' internal energy runs out, he cannot teleport. To be continued. Chapter 2:01. Death and Reincarnation, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekal11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. As is already clear, this story begins with that I died. I died quickly and almost painlessly. I was undoubtedly lucky with this. In short, I was struck by lightning. I didn't even have time to understand anything. Bright light, bam, and I'm dead. My life was really good. My mother raised me because my father abandoned us after I was born. Despite this, we were okay, and my mother earned enough for a good life. Everything went on as usual. First was kindergarten, then there was middle school, and finally high school. I did not study well, but I was above average. I was an absolute zero in sports since I spent all my free time on my hobby. I was watching movies, TV shows, and cartoons. Then, when I was older, I got hooked on anime. When it became difficult to look for a new title, I read manga. After that, I switched to light novels and fanfictions. When I was 16, my mother died of cancer. It was pretty hard, but I could cope more or less and continued to live on, already alone. I was lucky to have an apartment to live in, but I had to look for a part-time job, which caused problems with my studies, as I skipped school to earn money. In the end, I could not get a diploma and had to stay for an extra year at school. But since my grades fell, it was not possible to go to higher education. Fortunately, I could go abroad, where I found a job with a good salary. And so, one day, I was walking from my new job to my apartment when a lightning strike happened. Since then, I have been a ball of energy in endless darkness. I swam here for quite a long time, and it feels like it's been about 20 years. It was outrageously dull. The only thing that saved me was viewing my memories, which was unexpectedly easy to do since there were no physical restrictions in the form of a mortal body. And I kept waiting for some supreme being to appear who would send me to another world, as in all these reincarnation stories. And it seemed it would, although it could have hurried. In an instant, I was in darkness, and now I was in a white room with only a table and 2 white metal chairs. A charming girl of about 20 years old sat at this table, with blonde hair and golden eyes. Her body was scorching, with large breasts and a wasp waist. The backside, unfortunately, was not visible, but I'm sure that it was also on top. Now, this girl was reading some papers and ignored me. I decided to wait until she finished because she had a full face, which was adorable. Only someone like her can expect such beauty. And after 30 minutes, she put down the papers and looked at me for the first time, saying, "Thanks for waiting. So, as you probably already figured out, you're dead. I apologize for spending 20 years in the void. It happened because I lost you and could not find you later. Fortunately, I was still able to see you. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Elsa, and I am the judge of the gods. I solve all issues related to the gods' punishment for their mistakes and irresponsible actions. If you have any questions, you can ask me now." "Why am I here?" I asked quite calmly, trying to find out the preliminary information. During the 20 years spent, as it turned out, in the void, I had already managed to go through all the stages of denial 10 times and had long ago come to terms with the inevitable. Nothing was holding me back in the past world, so it's a slight loss. This is directly related to your death. The lightning that killed you was unusual, and it was divine punishment. Elsa folded her hands under her chin. "Why was the divine punishment thrown at me?" I asked in surprise. "Actually, it wasn't meant for you. As I said earlier, I am the judge, and this lightning was intended for a god who committed many crimes because a force hit him in the head, and he felt unpunished and omnipotent. Punishment exists for such gods, and I decide on its use. When the runaway god realized that he wasn't all that powerful compared to me, he tried to escape and arrived in your world. When the punishment was supposed to apprehend and kill him, he covered himself with you and escaped. But not for long, since the second divine punishment destroyed him." Elsa finished explaining, looking at me with an apology in her eyes. "She seems to be sorry. And what happened to me after? I'm interested." "Well, at least they apologized. Otherwise, they could not tell. You are the first human to be hit by divine punishment, so I didn't know what would happen to you. I started searching your soul and eventually found you in the void. It was the last place I looked for because you shouldn't be there by all laws." The judge said thoughtfully. "Why?" "There is nothing in the void, and there shouldn't be, that's why it is emptiness. In the beginning, there was nothing, then the primal elements were born. But after they left, there was only emptiness for countless eons. When you arrived, the void should have erased you, but you not only managed to survive, you somehow were able to absorb the power of the void into your soul, because of which it evolved and has become limitless," Elsa announced in a solemn tone, even slightly glowing. "What does it mean?" I asked, leaning forward a little. Now the fun begins. "It means that if I give you a chance to develop, you will not only be able to become a god, but you will also be able to enter the rank of the creator or even receive power equal to the primal elements," Elsa said. "I have good prospects, I must say. It's hard to imagine, but it sounds great. And what will happen to me next?" I asked the most important question for today. "Because I am guilty before you, I will give you this chance to develop. I will grant you 3 wishes, but they will be limited because, with your unique soul, any help from me can only harm you. After, I will send you to a new world of your choice, where you will begin your journey," said Elsa, what I wanted to hear so much. As expected, this is a classic Isekai story. "What does unique soul mean?" I finally asked. "You are the first being in the Omniverse who could absorb the power of the void. When you get strong enough, you can use it. No one knows what will come of it, but it is clear that you have huge potential." Are there any other questions? Of course, there are. After all, it's not every day you meet a goddess, but I don't think it's up to it now, I replied. Nodding at my words with a slight smile, Elsa said. That's right, it will be better if you find out everything yourself in the future, it will be more interesting that way. Now I will give you time to consider your wishes. After hearing the last words of the goddess, I nodded and then thought deeply. It took me 3 whole hours to decide what I wanted. Still, this is an important decision that will determine my future life, and I can't be too hasty. I decided. I finally said, looking up at Elsa, who had been busy with documents all this time. Great. I'm listening. Elsa raised her head from the papers, said the judge of the gods. First, I want to get superintelligence, at the level of Reed Richards or even more. Is it possible? I asked hopefully. Still, most of my plans are set with this. No problem. When you are reborn, your IQ will be 270 on an IQ test. With this, you will gain eidetic and photographic memory, and your reaction and perception will be increased to match the speed of your thoughts. Elsa suggested. That's not the maximum, right? Will I be able to develop further, through training, for example? I asked. Of course. Consider this your starting value in statistics. Elsa said with a smile. Fine. Then the second desire, I want a body that will have the possibility of infinite development, just like my soul. I want this body to be completely free of impurities and genetic defects. Also, I want the body to have automatic protection that would destroy all harmful substances while maintaining all the benefits. For example, if I use some super soldier serums, my body will remove everything unnecessary while retaining all the benefits. I formatted my second wish. It didn't work out very well, but I think the meaning is clear. It will be allowed, but for this, you will need to saturate your new body with the energy of your soul. It will even be better, thanks to the aspect of the void. This process is incredibly difficult, but I will help you with this. Do you have any wishes for appearance? Elsa thought for a moment. Black hair and dark blue eyes, handsome face, 190 centimeters tall, and a professional athletic build. I said quickly. Certainly. So, what's your last wish? Elsa asked, writing down everything I said. 100x learning rate, was my immediate response. I can't give 100 times, a maximum of 40 times, do you agree? After a second of thought, the girl said. Yes. I agreed without hesitation. It is better not to be impudent and take what the judge has given. Now, decide where you want to go. I can give advice, start with a weak world, but with great opportunities to gain strength. Elsa said, crossing her arms under her impressive chest. I've already thought of everything. I want to go to one of the alternative worlds of Ben 10, if possible, like Ben Tennyson himself. I said. I know, not a typical choice, but what the creators of their animated series have not mixed into this universe. Magic, technology, aliens, and even gods. It's practically the Marvel universe, only at the minimum. But the Ben 10 universe is much safer and more structured. And getting superpowers is much easier, especially with my desires. In addition, this is my favorite cartoon from childhood, and I am well versed in lore and events. And thanks to the time in the void, I now remember all this very well. Good choice, with your new intellect, you can go far there. Are there any changes you would like to make it more comfortable for you? Elsa said, smiling. You can make the main characters were born 5 years earlier so that the story begins when they are 15 years old. After thinking for a bit, I replied. I don't feel like fighting an intergalactic conqueror as a 10-year-old kid. No problem, since you will end up in one of the alternate Ben, you can change everything as you like because it will be your world. I'll make a few more changes to explain your intelligence and your different appearance. Something written down on a piece of paper, said Elsa. Okay, I do not mind. Thank you for the chance and new life. I said, fully prepared to begin my adventure. It was because of me that you died, so there's nothing for it. Good luck. Elsa said, then she snapped her fingers, and a bright light engulfed me. It was the last thing I remember before losing consciousness. After sending our protagonist to a new world, in the White Room, which was Elsa's office, an older man appeared in white clothes and with a long beard. When he appeared, Elsa bowed her head and greeted him. Lord Creator. Elsa. Nodding his head, the older man said. Was it really necessary to restrict his desires so much? We gave him practically nothing, and our guilt before him is incredibly high. Elsa asked with a worried face. You know, we've been waiting for someone like him for a very long time. Finally, there is a chance to get the Lord of the Void and a new member of the primal elements. He will have to go through this path independently, without any crutches. The Creator said seriously. I understand, but we condemned him to death and loneliness in the void for a whole million years. It's also lucky that their time goes according to strange concepts, and he thinks he spent only 20 years there. I want to help him more and redeem myself, said the judge of the gods sadly. You are already helping him. Look after him, and if he needs help, give it. If there are questions, answer them. This task will be your redemption and help. The older man replied with a smile. All right, sir. Elsa replied with a faint smile. Nodding his head, the older man disappeared with a flash of light. After the Creator left, Elsa created a screen with a wave of her hand, on which a 5-year-old boy could be seen with black hair that seemed to be made of darkness itself and dark blue eyes that seemed to glow with intellect. Chapter 302. Alexander Benjamin Tennyson, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekal11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. I woke up in a hospital bed. My head ached terribly, everything swam before my eyes, and I couldn't concentrate at all. So all that remained was to lie back, ignore the pain, and wait for it to end. After 30 minutes, the headache finally dissipated, and I was able to get up from the bed to go to the mirror that hung over the sink. Fortunately, it was a solitary ward, and no one interfered with me. I was a cute 5-year-old boy with short black hair and dark blue eyes in the reflection. Baby fat was still present, but now we can say that I will be a real looker in the future. While I was admiring my new face, the memories of my current body suddenly came flooding back. It's good that it wasn't painful, just unpleasant. After 10 minutes, this process ended, and I processed all the information received. And well, this is far from being Ben 10. In general, this is absolutely an alternative universe, as I asked. First, my name is not Benjamin Kirby Tennyson, but Alexander Benjamin Tennyson. The thing is that in the original universe, Ben's parents were called Carl and Sandra Tennyson, and they were pretty ordinary people. In the same reality, Carl married a completely different woman. Her name was Olivia Masters, and she was a biophysicist, geneticist, and engineer. Perhaps she was one of the most brilliant people on Earth, and how understandably, she became my mother. Apparently, this is how Elsa decided to change the world to accommodate my new intellect and appearance. Since judging by the memories, I am the spitting image of my mother, and the same eyes, hair, and pretty face, and my intelligence also came from her. Secondly, because of the changes that I requested and the new mother, I was born on July 7, 1994, and Gwen, as expected, was born in December of 1994. Although in the original, Ben and Gwen were born on the same day, in 2000. The main story with finding the Omnitrix and further adventures will begin in the summer of 2010. And this means that, unlike the central universe, we will be 15 years old instead of 10. Third, the reason I'm in the hospital right now. My parents were in a car accident with me. And from what I can remember, only I survived. Luckily, I wasn't injured, just hit my head a little, hence the pain. It seems that these are the main differences from the Prime Universe, but they are enough for me. Now we will understand. And yes, in this world, everyone calls me Lex. I like this, it sounds good. Returning to the bed, I began to slowly sort through the memories. According to them, I really am a genius with an IQ of 270 since, at this age, I knew the entire school curriculum and began to get close to the university. Also, already now, I know 7 languages, and I am good at programming. Olivia taught me many things about her specialty. Although Lex did not understand this before, she trained her son for the future. And yes, eidetic memory is an ability. I can also go into a state similar to bullet time, where my reaction and perception become simply divine. As well as think about several things at once and do it at breakneck speed. It also seems that I am a little short of unblocking the second stream of consciousness. This is apparently since I am only 5 years old. As for my new body, it's really perfect. First, the skin is as smooth as a baby's butt, with no imperfections. And secondly, there are no moles, scars, or birthmarks. It also seems like a bonus, I got a more powerful, compared to an ordinary person, regeneration. And I never get scars. About 40 times the learning rate is still unclear because I have not learned much, except for languages and the school curriculum. But judging by the average person, I'm really cool. I learn one language in a week, although it takes about 6 months for an ordinary person. But here, it is not clear whether this is connected with my intellect or with a third desire. In general, everything is just fine, except for my parents' death. Although it's cruel to say so, it's probably better this way. I won't have to play the role of a child. Let my adult behavior refer to my intellect, which all my relatives know about, and my rapid maturation associated with my parents' death. As far as I can tell, Grandpa Max will take me to be raised, as he has just retired. But if it's busy, I'll be left with my uncle and aunt, Gwen's parents. And that's really good because Max will teach me a lot and give me more freedom. Until then, I can sleep. 2 hours later, when I woke up, an elderly, gray-haired man of about 50, in a red Hawaiian shirt, was sitting by my bed. This, of course, was Grandpa Max. "Good morning, Lex." Grandpa greeted me. "Morning," I answered, without much cheerfulness. Still, despite the recent tragic event, I was thrilled because I am alive again, also in the universe of my favorite cartoon. "How do you feel?" Max asked with a concerned face. "I'm alright, but my head hurts, and it's a little hard to think," I answered truthfully. "I see, don't worry, it will be over soon. In 2 days, you will be discharged, and we can go home," Max said with a weary smile. I just nodded and, looking at my grandfather, realized that it was not easy for him. After all, he had only recently lost one of his sons and nearly lost a grandson. He looked frankly alarming, he even seemed to have lost weight. "How are you feeling, Grandpa? You look bad, and you smell bad too. Can you go home and rest?" I asked with a serious face and pinched my nose to show the seriousness of the situation. Grandpa just laughed at this and sighed with relief, apparently realizing that I was fine and I could still joke. "Don't worry, I'm fine. Frank and Natalie will arrive in 3 hours, along with Gwen, and I will go home. I will sleep and wash," Grandpa said with a smile. "That's good," I said. We talked about little things to pass the time for the next 3 hours. When Uncle, Aunt, and Gwen arrived, Grandpa went to his RV to rest. Gwen in this universe looked the same as in the original, only now she is 5 years old. So, I can conclude that all the changes are related only to me. 2 days later, when I was discharged, Max and I went to my old house in Bellwood to pick up my things. We will live in my grandfather's house, located in the same city, just a couple of blocks from Gwen's house. And my old house, we decided to sell and leave the money for college, as grandfather said. Although I don't really need this money, because my parents left me a decent inheritance, especially my mother left a lot. It turns out being a scientist is pretty lucrative. At least in this world. With the sale of the house, I agreed entirely because even though I did not suffer too much from the loss of new parents, I felt uneasy and sad when I was in that house. Although this is a house that I have good and fond memories of, it will be easier this way. In my grandfather's house, they gave me my own room. It was even more significant than my old one, and there was a new computer, in my opinion, too cool for this time. When asked about the computer, Grandpa said it was a housewarming gift. When I tried to find out his origin, he did not skillfully get off the topic and continued showing the room. As I later realized, the computer was assembled using alien technology. After that, we visited Gwen's home and had dinner with the family. Apparently, to show me that everything is not so terrible and help me cope with the death of my parents. At the same time, bring me closer to Gwen to become friends and find a common language. Max POV. Now, when we were sitting at the table and having dinner at Frank's home, I looked at Lex and saw how he communicates with Gwen on all sorts of scientific topics, which in my opinion, are not quite suitable for 5-year-old children. But given their intelligence, this is normal. I couldn't stop being amazed at how solid and intelligent this kid is. Less than a month ago, he lost his parents, but now, he can already show a smile and behave responsibly without falling into hysterics like an average child. All the same, he ultimately looks like Olivia. I am still amazed how my son could find such a brilliant and beautiful woman. And how she fell for him. I hope I can raise my grandson right and not shame the memory of his parents. Chapter 403. 10 years later, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekal11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. The following 10 years went very well. Soon after I moved to my grandfather's, I went to primary school, which I graduated after 3 years and moved on to secondary. Which is not surprising with my IQ. Since I knew perfectly well what awaited me in the future, I decided to prepare myself as seriously as possible for future enemies and trials. Therefore, first of all, I signed up, with the help of my grandfather, in a karate club. The teacher in this club was an actual native Japanese and a 10th Dan karate master. I was engaged in this club for only 2 years, but despite this, I was able, unofficially, of course, to get the 6th Dan. I would have gotten more, but I didn't have enough physical data due to my age. After that, everything went faster. It took me only a year to get the title of master in Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu. Over the next year, I was able to master Muay Thai, Wing Chun, and Taekwondo. Over the next 5 years, I fully mastered Kempo and Budo, Judo, Aikido, Kendo, Kyudo, Archery, Jodo, Shirinji Kempo, Bojutsu, as well as Western fencing. And over the past 2 years, I have been able to fully master Tai Chi and Qigong. I also dabbled in boxing, sambo, kickboxing, capoeira, wushu, and arnis, a Filipino martial art. Still, I did not spend much time as many martial arts have similarities. Thanks to my high intelligence quick reaction with my perception, I was able to mix these arts into a new and unique, where there are techniques from all the martial arts I know and create my own style, like the one that created Batman. But unlike him, I have neutralized in non-killing techniques and deadly ones that can kill in one move. The basis of my style, which I never gave a name to, strikes into vulnerable spots to quickly take the enemy out of combat. Still, there are also enough defensive positions and techniques using a sword, bow staff, and some other types of weapons. I am also good at throwing weapons in shurikens, kunai, and throwing knives, which I prefer most, and I always carry a couple with me. To keep my body in shape, for all these years, I have been doing jogging, swimming, and light gymnastics to develop all muscle groups and not turn into pitching, but have dense, strong, but compact muscles. Well, for the soul, I played soccer. Thanks to 10 years of hard work, I was able to turn all my muscles into pink fibers, which is an incredible result in my 15, almost 16 years. I was able to accomplish such a feat only thanks to my 40-fold learning rate, the peculiarities of my body, and incredible diligence. I just won a huge number of competitions most of the time. I no longer have enough space for awards. I had to take all of them to the attic so that they would not get in the way. As for my studies, it was pretty simple. At the age of 11, I graduated from middle school, and at the age of 15, before the start of the holidays, I graduated from high school. I could have done it earlier, but I decided that this is the ideal time, so I will have more time to focus on the aliens and the Omnitrix. As for my actual knowledge, here I need to tell a story that happened 6 months later, after my move to my grandfather's house. As I know, my grandfather is definitely not an ordinary person. He is a former cosmonaut and the plumber of space. He could become the first person on the moon. Still, he chose to be a space police officer and seriously succeeded. And became an absolute legend among people and aliens alike. It was to him that the Omnitrix was initially intended. But of course, I could not officially know this and therefore decided to achieve his recognition. My plan was pretty simple. I disassembled Grandpa Max's computer. My current mother taught me this. Like I expected, this computer was really created with the help of alien technologies. I've never seen them before. When I told my grandfather about this, he was clearly very nervous, under my prosecutor's gaze, but still, he didn't split and rattled off some rubbish that his old friend from the army helped him get this computer and that these were new developments. Since my first plan failed, I entered from the other side, namely the RV. As far as I remember, it is simply stuffed with alien technologies. I just had to find them and provide evidence to my grandfather, and he will crack for me. And oddly enough, it worked. When I was able to sneak into the mobile home and finally find the switch that showed all of its foreign equipment, then my grandfather, who just at that moment appeared, had no chance to get out. Of course, he tried to make excuses and came up with all sorts of absurd stories, but under my unblinking, studying, and condemning eyes, he gave up after 5 minutes. And he told me everything, about how he prepared to become an astronaut, about how he met my grandmother Verdona, who, by the way, is an alien from the Anodite race, and how he joined the plumbers. In general, he told his whole life, and this time, it was utterly authentic, unlike the version he said earlier. As it turned out, my father, my uncle and his wife, and a couple of other people from the family knew about his real life. Oddly enough, my mom knew nothing about this. But this was to be expected since Verdana and Olivia could not stand each other and were no better than a cat and a dog from grandfather's stories. My grandfather told me he believed that this was because they were too similar and could not get along. So, after he told me about all this, I was able to get access to the database of the plumbers since there was their old base right under the city, to which, fortunately, my grandfather had access. This database was full of information about various scientific discoveries and technologies from all over the galaxy. And a lot of that data was on a completely different level than Earth. Of course, there was the knowledge that I absolutely did not need in some places, but I could distribute everything as I needed it. Of course, everything is not so simple because there was information from all over the galaxy, which means countless languages were spoken by many races. Still, I created a universal translator thanks to the tools and technologies that I dug out at the base. I began my studies with the technology and scientific research of the Earth. I ended with information from the planet Galvan, the homeland of Azimuth, considered the most intelligent creature in the galaxy. With all my super brains, this study took me as much as 10 years, barely had time to finish all the research and processing. It's good that I could read at a speed of 10,000 words per minute. Still, thanks to constant practice and the study of more and more complex technologies and new scientific research, my reading speed increased to 17,000 words per minute, which means that I read about 280 words per second, and not only read but also managed to process. Such a rape of my brain could not pass without consequences, but fortunately for me, thanks again to my body, there was no negative, but only positive. As I actively developed my intelligence for 10 years, I raised my IQ from the initial 270 to 287 points, undoubtedly a significant amount. Also, besides the apparent increase in reading speed, there were other advantages. First, I could still develop the second stream of consciousness. It happened at 7. I created the third stream at the age of 11, and finally, the last, at the moment, the fourth stream of consciousness, I was able to develop just a few weeks ago. Thanks to the increase in IQ and the development of additional streams of consciousness, I was able to read and process the entire database of orderlies. After all, this was only available information taught in universities and similar institutions. No one will add all secret information to the public database, even though a police officer. Second, and most importantly, I developed the ability of telekinesis and telepathy. I awakened telekinesis when I reached 280 IQ points and telepathy when I reached 285. My telekinesis was not very strong. I could lift only about 200 kilograms of weight with the power of thought at a distance of about 7 meters. With each additional IQ point, the power of telekinesis increased. At first, the limit was 70 kilograms of weight at a distance of 2 meters. As for telepathy, it is also not perfect and relatively weak. It is more like empathy. Sensing people's emotions with a few superficial thoughts is more readable. But if I concentrate intensely and switch the attention of all additional consciousnesses to telepathy, I will be able to read the thoughts of one particular person. Proper, only a couple of minutes, then a wild headache begins. Far from me, even before Professor X and Jean Grey. Since my telepathy was weak, I decided to protect my mind, just in case. This may come in handy in the future. There are all kinds of enemies, and the mind must be protected. There is nothing better than creating a mental shield. I still don't understand how I did it, but now my thoughts are protected by a shield. I have never met anyone else with telepathy, so I don't know how strong the shield is, but I will be calmer. I believe when my IQ reaches 290 points, a new psychic type ability or the ability to control the elements, such as pyrokinesis or hydrokinesis, will awaken. It also seems that with each increase in IQ value, other abilities increase in strength. Next time, telekinesis and telepathy will receive a new leap in power. Thanks to my increased intelligence and technology that I was able to find based on the orderlies and those that Grandpa Max helped me get in the underground city near Bellwood, where many aliens live, I created my own AI. It was complicated and took me 5 whole years of work. All this time, one of my streams of consciousness was doing calculations. But I could still finish it just a year ago. I named the AI Morgana. Morgana is a mighty artificial intelligence with a database of plumbers, and she is currently the most powerful AI on Earth. Although this is understandable, since I used foreign technologies, mainly from the planet Galvan and Encephalonis 4, the homeland of the Galvanians and Cerebrocrustaceans, respectively. Using the Galactic Tech Score, Morgana is level 13 tech. Come to think of it, this is just incredible, no not, incredibly cool for a 15-year-old from Earth, where technology has only reached level 2. At least officially, we all know what that means. Later, I will definitely improve Morgana when the story begins, and I get the Omnitrix and other technologies during my adventures. Someday she will reach level 20, Omnitrix level, and possibly 21. Morgana herself is the size of a small closet. This was only achieved by mixing some of the most unique technologies from different planets. I keep this most high-tech closet in the basement of my grandfather's house. Of course, Morgana herself is always with me in the form of a bracelet, which has a connection to the central server. But later, I will try to reduce the closet itself to a portable size, or maybe I can mix technology with magic and create a dimensional pocket for Morgana. I released Morgan on the internet as soon as I checked all the security codes and the like. I checked everything several times and made sure that I did not accidentally create a female version of Ultron. Fortunately, Morgana did not desire to kill all of humanity, and she is absolutely loyal to me. Morgana's personality turned out to be rather peculiar. Morgana is just a bunch of sarcasm and black humor, with a sexy voice. But she clearly favors me, not particularly how I designed the AI. I might make her a body in the future, but for now, I manage with a hologram in the form of a voluptuous beauty with black hair and bright green eyes. It will definitely be necessary to make her a body. So, after the release of Morgana on the internet, I will not have problems with money, at least while I am on Earth. Oddly enough, Apple, Microsoft, and YouTube also exist in this world, and with the help of Morgana and inheritance from my parents, I was able to invest money. Now I am officially a millionaire, plus knowledge from a past life helped a lot. I was never interested in economics, but even what I heard and caught in my life could be helpful to me in this one, and in this, I was helped by eidetic memory. Although I had to spend a lot of time remembering everything. Plus, there are a lot of abandoned accounts of all sorts of dead drug lords and similar people on the network. I also adopted them. I was thinking about opening my own company and creating technologies based on foreign equipment, like my old computer, but I thought that there would not be enough time, and why do I need it? There is already a lot of money. Thanks to the fact that I could access the technologies sold in the underground city, I created a piece of high-end equipment in the form of a supercomputer the size of a regular laptop, connected to Morgan and the Galactic Network. There is also a smartphone with the same connection. Both the laptop and the smartphone were made as indestructible as possible. I also got a powerful motorcycle that accelerates to 900 km/h and can turn into a 20 by 20 centimeters box. Good thing. As for the underground city, I was never there. My grandfather forbade me. Because he thinks it's too early for me to go there. But I didn't want to. Grandpa Max could get everything I needed anyway. As for my alien part and magic, I was able to do a few analyses and found out that I am indeed on 1/4 anodize, but here, too, there was a surprise. Looks like Olivia, my current mother, wasn't entirely human either, and she, too, was a part of an alien race unknown to me. To be more precise, either her grandfather or her grandmother, I do not know for sure, were aliens, so it turns out that they are also 1/4 not human. This means I am on 1/4 anodite, on 1/8 some unknown alien, and everything else is human. Apparently, thanks to this 1/8 part, I got psionic abilities in the form of telepathy and telekinesis. It also turned out that things are not so simple with the human part. Based on the analysis, I am human but unusual. Apparently, this is due to my unique body. I can be called a high human because I have no impurities, genetic defects, and other nasty things that ordinary people have. It seems that I could awaken Mom's alien legacy only because of this. As for magic, I just didn't have time, and I had absolutely no time to search for books on magic or a teacher. Fortunately, unlike the original Ben, I awakened Anodite's legacy. All I could do was feel the mana in the body and start moving it through the body. In the future, this will be useful to me. As I understand it, it increases control. There are even advantages to saturating my body with mana, which will improve all my physical characteristics by about 20%, and that's at least something. This is all the preparation I managed to do over these 10 years for the events awaiting me. Max POV. It's been 10 years since Carl and Olivia died, and I've been raising Lex all this time. Frankly, though, I didn't have to do anything other than support and mentor him when he needed it. I always knew he was smart, but I never knew how brilliant he was. In just 6 months, he revealed my secret and guessed about my past. Of course, I tried to hide everything from him, but it is impossible not to get nervous under this gaze of shrewd, dark blue eyes, especially when he knows that you are not telling the truth. In fact, I'm even glad that he guessed everything. It became much more straightforward, and there was no need to lie. True, I still had to persuade him not to tell Gwen about it because I wanted her to have a chance for an ordinary life. When he asked me to take him to the former base of the plumbers, I thought that he was just interested and curious to look at alien technology. But who knew that as soon as he got access to computers, he would simply drown in all the information and would have to be pulled out by force. I can't imagine how he could process all the data in just 10 years while spending only 5 hours a day on it. But he did it, and he also had time to spend time learning martial arts and going to school. But the main thing that amazes me the most and makes me the proudest of my grandson is Morgana. Never in my life have I seen such an advanced artificial intelligence. The way it behaves cannot compare to other AIs I know. Especially when Lex talks to her, Morgana is full of love and care. Still, when I speak to her, she behaves like a natural comedian with a bunch of puns and sarcasm and sometimes acts like a regular AI. That is, she speaks dryly and mechanically. But I can definitely hear the emotion in her when Lex is around. Lex said she was the most powerful AI on Earth and was level 13 technology when he presented Morgana. But in my experience and what I saw, Morgana is definitely not artificial intelligence. She is a full-fledged artificial person, almost a digital person with emotions and full-fledged thoughts. And this is absolutely definitely not the 13th level. She has already gone beyond all the boundaries of technology known in the galaxy. But I won't tell Lex, let him figure it out himself. During this time, he also learned many martial arts, and I think he created his own personal, as I saw him train, and it was more like a dance than a fight. I've only seen this a couple of times, and they were the best hand-to-hand fighters in the galaxy. I still can't understand, where is he in such a hurry? Why is she constantly studying and training? What is he getting ready for? When I asked him about it, Lex said he wanted to be prepared for anything that could happen because the world is much more complicated and dangerous than ordinary people think. With this, I certainly agree, and I will be calmer, knowing that he will be able to stand up for himself. But still, I am apprehensive because all these years that he lived with me, he never stopped his development and never fully rested. And he had none of his friends except Gwen, and even here, too, not everything is clear. The girl is clearly in love with him since childhood. And Lex knows that for sure but doesn't do anything to solve it. Frank and Natalie, I have already discussed this and decided not to interfere. If it is serious, we will even support them. Yet they are on 1/4 Anadites and incest will not happen, because magic will fix everything, but we'll see what happens because Lex is clearly not an ordinary guy and it is unknown what will happen in the future. Half of the girls at school love him, and everyone is older than him. Such a unique guy will most likely not be limited to one girl, but this is in the future. And now he has just finished studying the orderlies database and is finishing school in a couple of weeks. He needs to arrange rest for him. I'll take him and Gwen on a trip around the country in my mobile home, maybe they can sort out their relationship. At the same time, he will take a break from his studies, something interesting may happen. Gwen POV. My name is Gwen Tennyson, I am 15 years old, and at the moment, I am finishing high school because as a child, I was able to jump several grades forward, it was not difficult. In a week, I'm going on a trip across the country with Grandpa Max and my cousin Lex. I have known him all my life and spent a lot of time with him since his parents died and grandfather Max took him up. I know that he is a brilliant person, although I am also considered intelligent. I am finishing high school, and he is a graduate. He was always better than me in everything, both in sports and studies. Even so, he never became arrogant or bragged to me. At first, I was very jealous of him and tried to beat him, at least somehow. I even started going to karate only because of this. But despite this, he helped me when I needed it. Then I realized that it was pointless because although he is an incredibly gifted person, he is constantly improving and working so that this talent does not disappear. Even if I try to catch up with him, I will not persevere working as hard as he did. And when I realized this, at the exact moment, I felt very good with him because it is delightful when there is someone as caring, intelligent, and strong as he is nearby. And at that moment, I realized what I was missing. I fell head over heels in love with my own cousin. Although this is not surprising because half of the city wants the same. At first, I denied it and tried not to pay attention because we are relatives. But then my mom asked me how I felt about Lex, and I burst out. I told my mother everything. Unexpectedly, she said that the family would support us if these were serious feelings, which was undoubtedly strange, but I was thrilled. But I did not dare to talk to him about it. I have been trying for more than a year, but nothing works. I hope we can have a good conversation this vacation. At the same time, I also find out what this secret is associated with grandfather, which the whole family seems to know about, except me. And now I need to pack for our trip around the country because tomorrow my grandfather will pick me up and our summer together will begin. Chapter 504. The Beginning of the Journey, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekal11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Third POV. June 1, 2010. At the moment, a handsome 15-year-old guy with glasses, black hair, and dark blue eyes, 175 centimeters tall, came out of the main entrance of Bellwood High School. He was dressed in a striped black and blue short-sleeved shirt, black jeans, and sneakers. He carried a backpack on his shoulder. Judging by his body, one could say that he was an athlete because, despite the shirt, you can see his powerful muscled physique. This guy was our main character, Alexander Benjamin Tennyson, or just Lex. Just now, he officially graduated from school. It remains only to wait for the results of the exams, which will undoubtedly have the highest scores. Lex was now walking towards the school parking lot, an old beige mobile home. But don't be fooled, despite the shabby appearance, this bus was just crammed with various alien technology. This RV belongs to the former plumbers of the space, the hero of the Earth, and just a great man. This man's name was Max Tennyson. He is the grandfather of our protagonist and his guardian. This summer, Grandpa Max decided that Lex needed a break from his studies and decided to take a trip around the country in his RV. He decided that this would help Lex relax before going to university and help his relationship with Gwen. Max hoped that they could all have fun and carefree, but to his most profound regret, for him, this was not destined to come true because fate had long been decided, and this summer will be the most unusual in the life of the three Tennysons. When Lex approached the bus, an elderly man in his 60s got off, wearing a red Hawaiian shirt with a beer belly. As soon as he saw Lex, he smiled warmly and greeted him. "Come on, Lex, let's go, I want to get to camp before evening," Grandpa Max said with a smile. "All right, grandfather," answered Lex and quickly walked to the bus. He saw a beautiful 15-year-old girl with green eyes and red hair pulled back in a ponytail when Lex went inside. It was his cousin, Gwen. When Gwen saw Lex, she immediately threw herself into his arms and greeted him with joy in her voice. "Hey, Lex, good to see you." Hugging her brother, Gwen said with a smile. "Nice to see you too, Gwen," Lex said and hugged her back. When the hugs ended, they sat down on the sofas opposite each other and continued the conversation. "So you're glad you're coming with us?" Lex asked as he sat down on the couch and kicked off his backpack. "Highly. I hope this will be a good trip and we will see a lot of exciting things," Gwen answered with a happy smile. "No doubt. And so it will be," said Lex's cousin, smiling mysteriously. Looking in the rearview mirror, Max smiled as he saw the interaction of his grandchildren and started the bus engine, after which he hit the road out of town. After 20 minutes of driving and talking with Gwen, Lex decided to rest. After informing his sister about this, he went to bed, where he fell asleep 10 minutes later. Gwen, however, moved to the front seat of the bus and began to look at the road, enjoying the view. 3 hours later, when the bus stopped at a gas station, Lex woke up. Stretching sweetly, he got out of bed and went outside, where he saw Gwen standing and drinking lemonade. Lex walked over to her and said, "Gwen, let's go to the store and buy provisions for the next couple of days. You know the specific tastes of grandfather. I'm already used to this and ate all kinds of things while I lived with him, but you're not used to that," Lex said in all seriousness. Hearing Lex's words, Gwen turned pale and nodded her head sharply, agreeing with her brother's thought. After buying everything they needed, primarily long-lasting food, they headed back to the RV. After 5 minutes, Max finished refueling the bus, hitting the road again. At that moment, when our heroes had just begun their journey, a battle of two spaceships was taking place on the border of the solar system. The giant ship, led by Vilgax, continued its pursuit of the smaller vessel, now carrying the Omnitrix. Vilgax, representative of the Chimera Sui Generis race, warlord and conqueror of 10 worlds, ruler of the planet Vilgaxia. He has been hunting the Omnitrix for a long time to get an army of aliens of different types and continue his campaign of conquest. Vilgax's ship attacked another ship but received a retaliation attack. His ship was damaged by 20%, as one of his soldiers reported to him. To the soldier's words, Vilgax replied, "I want to achieve my goal. The Omnitrix will be mine, and I will not let any creature get in its way." And the chase continued. Arriving at the campsite at sunset, our heroes began to prepare for dinner. As Lex predicted, Grandpa Max decided to treat his grandchildren with exotic food, namely living octopus tentacles. Lex, accustomed to this kind of food, quickly finished his portion. Oddly enough, it was delicious. On the other hand, Gwen limited herself to food purchased at the gas station. When Grandpa Max offered to fry the marshmallow an hour after dinner, Lex knew that the time had come. Therefore, getting up from the stump on which he was sitting, he said, "No, Grandpa, thanks, but I don't want to eat sweets for the night, and I'd instead go for a walk in the woods before bed." Gwen wanted to join Lex on the walk, but he barely persuaded her to stay. So, he went for a walk in the forest, which will change his whole life, which he has been waiting for the last 10 years. Underscore. The ships were approaching the Earth and still continued their pursuit. Vilgax's ship was still attacking the Omnitrix ship, hoping to incapacitate it. Finally, a laser beam from Vilgax's ship hit the rear of the small ship, knocking out the engine. Almost celebrating his victory, Vilgax wanted to go after the Omnitrix. Still, unexpectedly, the enemy ship attacked from a hidden weapon and destroyed the command bridge, where Vilgax was currently located. Unfortunately, Vilgax survived, but was seriously injured. It will take several weeks to fully recover. Due to the malfunctioning systems of the Vilgax ship, he fired his most potent attack and destroyed almost the entire small ship. Before the complete destruction of the ship, the pilot managed to send the Omnitrix to Earth in a small capsule. The pilot himself was also able to evacuate. Underscore. Having already walked half a kilometer into the depths of the forest, Lex looked into the sky and waited for the capsule with the Omnitrix to appear. 5 minutes later, a shooting star appeared in the sky, which abruptly turned from its path and began to fall directly into Lex. Expecting this, Lex quickly ran away from the landing site and dodged all the fragments of the Earth. After waiting a couple of minutes for the capsule to cool down, Lex descended into the crater. When he approached her, the capsule opened. In it, one could see what Lex had been waiting for, what he was preparing for and putting all his strength into, to get the result. It was a space clock called the Omnitrix. Unlike what Lex had expected, the clock was not bright green but dark blue. This once again proved the difference between this reality and others. Finally making up his mind, Lex held out his right hand to the clock, and as he expected, the watch itself pounced on his hand. But what he did not expect was a wild pain in this very hand. It felt like 1,000 microscopic needles were digging into his arm. When the pain stopped, the Omnitrix emitted a bright, blue light. Having finished the end of the world, the clock emitted a sound indicating readiness for work. Chapter 605. Omnitrix, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekil11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. As soon as the clock gave off its signal, I looked at it carefully. The Omnitrix looked more like a bracelet, not a watch, with the emblem of the plumbers of space. But instead of bright green, the symbol was dark blue. With excitement, I pressed the button under the dial with a trembling hand. As I did that, the dial of the Omnitrix popped up and changed from the plumber's sign to the silhouette of an alien. The first silhouette clearly showed a heat blast or an alien from the Pyronite race. Since I was in the woods right now, turning into this hero would be absolutely stupid. Moreover, at first, I wanted to check all the aliens available to me in the Omnitrix. In addition, I still have time since I need to wait for the Vilgax robots to appear to immediately destroy them and not let them make a mess here. Turning the dial to the left, another silhouette appeared, belonging to Tetramand or the Four Arms. Then there was the silhouette of Petrosapien, the hero who was called Diamondhead, although it consists of a different material, but who cares? The next was XLR-8. Representative of the Kinoceleran race, who specializes in speed. The fifth silhouette on the dial belonged to an ectoneurite, ghost freak, named Zasker, who at the moment can still resurrect from the amount of his DNA in the Omnitrix. It will be necessary to deal with this later, otherwise, it will create more problems. I would not like to lose such a solid and promising alien. The sixth in a row was the Wild Mutt. It was just a big, blind, slobbering dog with a great sense of smell, and I never liked it. The seventh alien was one of the most useful in the entire Omnitrix. A representative of the Galvan race, a compatriot of the creator of this beautiful watch, a Galvan. I can't imagine what will happen if I, with my brains, turn into a representative of one of the most intelligent races in the galaxy. It will be necessary to check it out. The eighth alien is the Stinkfly, and I can't say anything about him other than that he is a practical but smelly superhero. At number 9, we have Galvanic Mechamorph, with the speaking name upgrade, one alien I want to become the most. And the last alien available to me at the moment is Ripjaws. Useless everywhere except water. Happy with what I received, what I had been waiting for 10 years. I turned the dial to choose the one I needed to fight the robots, but I saw not Pyronite, as I expected, but a completely different alien. At first, I was shocked that there were more than 10 of them, but after that, I was overwhelmed by the understanding that everything would not always be as I expected. Need to immediately check their exact number. It turned out there are only 13 aliens at the moment. Now I'm not Lex 10, but Lex 13, and I like it. The bigger, the better. Judging by the silhouette on the dial, the 11th hero was the Apoplexian. In this form, Ben called himself the Wrath, and he clearly had problems with aggression and anger. It looks like this alien can influence the Omnitrix host and show the true nature of the Apoplexians. But as far as I remember, Albedo was in complete control of himself. I think he said it had to do with IQ. In theory, everything should be alright with me too. The 12th was the one I wanted to unblock as soon as possible because my main plans were connected with him. It was Ditto. Although Ditto knows nothing but how to create his own clones, which also feel each other's pain, he will be incredibly useful to me. And now, indeed, the very last, 13th alien. Jet Ray. A helpful hero, and it will definitely come in handy for me. After completing the Omnitrix check, I quickly hid behind the trees and waited for the Vilgax robot. I immediately prepared myself, chose the alien I wanted to turn into, and then waited. After 5 minutes, another shooting star appeared in the sky, definitely not a star. This thing landed 10 meters from the capsule, where the Omnitrix lay. At first, it looked like some kind of oval-shaped satellite, until after a couple of seconds, this thing released 3 legs, a pair of hands with big claws, and a head with a pair of glowing red eyes. /N, image in comments. When this robot ultimately released its shape, it turned towards the capsule. Apparently not finding what he was looking for inside, the robot put out his right hand and fired a laser beam, destroying the Omnitrix escape capsule. Just as the robot was about to fire a shot at the capsule, I realized it was time to act. Quickly raising my right hand to chest level, I slapped my left hand on the Omnitrix dial, on which you could see the silhouette of the diamond head. The place where I stood was bathed in a dark blue light. At that moment, I felt how my body began to change. From the right hand, where the Omnitrix is located, crystals of turquoise color began to appear on my body, although they should have been light green, but again a different reality. Despite the crystal growing on my body, I did not feel anything painful. The entire transformation, which by the way lasted precisely 2 seconds, I felt only a slight, almost imperceptible, tickling. I thought it would be more painful, or at least more unpleasant. When I became the alien, the robot released 2 reconnaissance drones from its shoulders, which never noticed me. There was no time to examine me, so I quickly created 2 crystal daggers from my body and threw them directly at the drones with mind-blowing precision. It was not in vain that I learned to throw shurikens and throwing knives. The daggers pierced the 2 drones and caused their destruction. The drones, by the way, exploded almost immediately, and they slightly touched the main robot with the same explosion, which was very close since the drones had not yet had time to fly far away. Wasted no time while the robot was disoriented, I ran towards it. When the robot came to its senses and noticed me, I was already at a distance of 3 meters from it. Raising his hand, he fired a laser at me, but I managed to sit down on one knee and sent the crystal needles right underground, thus creating thorns under the robot that immediately destroyed it. A second later, this robot also exploded. I had to cover myself with my hands from the blast wave, but everything was fine with me. Well, this was my first battle with a real enemy and, in my opinion, it turned out very well. It's a pity that the robot was destroyed, though. With Morgana's help, I could reprogram this thing and use it somewhere, and I could also break into Vilgax's network and steal his secrets. But I really wanted to see how I could handle my first battle. You can't undo what you've done, but I don't really regret it. Besides, even what is left will be helpful to me, and it will be necessary to take away everything that has survived. As I watched my handiwork, a girlish cry came from behind. Oh, so Gwen is already here. Apparently, she went to look for me since I had been gone for a long time. Chapter 706. Omnitrix 2, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekil11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Gwen POV. For some reason, Lex has been gone for a long time. It's already been 30 minutes since he went for a walk in the forest. It might be worth checking if he is alright and bringing him back. It will soon be dark. Grandpa, I'll go get Lex. I told Grandfather Max and went towards the forest. Okay, Gwen. Grandpa answered me at last. After walking through the forest for about 400 meters, I heard the sound of an explosion not far from here. Worried that something might have happened to Lex, I quickly ran towards the explosion. Soon I ran to a clearing, where you could see the trail of the landing of something that left a deep crater. Not far from the crater, I was able to see something that shocked me to the core. There was a large crystal with legs, arms, and a pointed head. He was all turquoise, wearing a tight-fitting blue suit. He stood and looked at the fire, where you could see the remains of some kind of robot. I screamed in surprise. Hearing my cry, this creature turned to me while making a crystal sound. When it looked at me, I saw its dark blue eyes and some kind of emblem in the form of a clock of the same color, located in the center of its chest. Frightened, I stumbled back and caught on the root of a tree, fell on my ass. At that moment, this creature began to walk in my direction. When I wanted to start moving back, it began to speak in a low male voice. "Don't worry, I won't hurt you," the thing said in a soothing tone. Hearing him, I stopped my attempts to move. Something in this voice seemed familiar to me. Being filled with excitement, I asked, "Who are you?" In response, this speaking crystal only grinned and said, "Gwen, it's me. Lex." And when I heard him, I could only open my eyes wide. After all, it really seemed to me that there was something so familiar in this crystal. I almost immediately believed him because even despite his appearance, these eyes definitely belonged to Lex. But what happened to you, Lex? Why do you look like some kind of humanoid crystal? With obvious shock, I asked. At this, the alien Lex just shrugged his shoulders and said, "A satellite fell from the sky, almost nailed me, and I barely had time to jump back. When I came closer, it turned out that it was some kind of capsule that opened by itself, and inside there was an alien clock. They jumped onto my hand when I just walked up. The watch seemed to be glued to my hand, and I could not take it off, no matter how I tried. Then I decided to check what it is. I pressed the button, twisted it a couple of times, and pressed it again, after which there was a flash of light, and I was already this creature. Immediately after that, a robot fell from the sky. Seeing me, he began to attack me, but I could quickly destroy him. When I started thinking about what to do next, I heard your cry. And here we are." Still, in shock from his story, I got up and tried to think over his words when I heard the noise of footsteps from behind, and Grandpa Max ran into the clearing. Max POV. 5 minutes after Gwen left for the forest, I heard an explosion. Deciding that something terrible could happen, I quickly ran to the bus, took the laser gun from the hiding place, and headed towards the explosion. When I ran, I saw fire and bits of a robot, and at the side of them stood Gwen and Petrosapien. Running up to them, I pointed my weapon at the alien and shouted, "Get away from her!" But Gwen stood before me, shielding the alien with her back. "Grandpa, don't shoot, it's Lex!" shouted Gwen. Hearing Gwen, I stared at Petrosapien in shock and noticed the plumber's emblem on his chest, only of a different color. And finally, I began to understand what was happening here. At this moment, the alien, making a crystal sound, raised his hand and slapped the emblem. After a flash of light, Lex was already standing in the clearing, with a strange watch on his right hand. Moving away from the shock, I seriously asked, "Is that the Omnitrix?" When I asked, Lex just nodded. "What is the Omnitrix?" Gwen asked. Now is not the time for questions. It looks like this robot was just a scout, and he was looking for a watch. And since I destroyed it, the owner of the robot will most likely send another and will do it in a place of congestion, deciding that there might be the one who found the clock. "We need to hurry," Lex said with a serious face. Having considered his words, I found them logical, which means we need to hurry. So, nodding, I ran towards our mobile home. The children were behind me. Lex POV. Having reached the bus, we drove towards the parking lot, where most mobile homes stood. At that moment, Gwen asked me with a worried face, "How do we destroy the other robot? Will you turn into that diamond guy again?" "Not in someone else, but first, you need to wait for the watch to recharge. I will quickly destroy the robot while you help people," I answered. "What do you mean, someone else?" Gwen asked. "It looks like the watch gives me the ability to transform into different aliens with different extraordinary abilities. I became something like a werewolf with them, only instead of a wolf, I turn into several different aliens," I said with a smile. "How many aliens are available to you?" Gwen asked curiously. "Currently 13. At that moment, our attention was attracted by Grandpa Max, who said that we had arrived at the place. There we saw 2 robots, the same as last time. 5-meter with a tripod and red eyes. Now they walked through the parking lot and fired lasers without a target. People ran away from them in horror. Getting out of the bus, I said, "Go help people evacuate, and I'll go away and turn into an alien. Better not to see this. And please be careful." Grandpa Max and Gwen nodded gravely and went to help others at my words. And I ran to the side a few meters and hiding behind a tree, I began to choose the alien. Determined quickly, I slapped the Omnitrix. 2 seconds later, I turned into an upgrade, in my opinion, the most optimal hero at the moment. I looked like an ordinary galvanic mechamorph, only I was somehow smooth and straight shining, with a white belly with a bluish tint. And all the lines were blue with a round eye on the muzzle, and the blue Omnitrix mark was on the chest. /N, image and comments. After running out of hiding, I went to the robots. I was lucky, just at that moment, one of them turned his back on me. Wasted no time, I jumped to him and, spreading out in a puddle, clung to the robot's legs. Stretching out to its full size, I took complete control of it. Immediately improving and adding more guns, I went to another robot. All this action took me 5 seconds. Stopping near another Vilgax robot, I immediately opened fire on him. After a couple of seconds, no trace remained of this thing, and it finally disappeared in the explosion. While all the spectators were in shock, I absorbed my robot, becoming a regular upgrade, and ran towards the forest. Then I can use this form whenever I want. I don't understand why Ben never did that, it happens instinctively. Having reached the forest and hiding, I slapped the Omnitrix and, again becoming myself, went to the bus. Gwen and Grandpa Max came to a couple of minutes after me. Gwen immediately rushed to hug me and said with delight, "Lex, that was so cool. You came and swallowed one robot, immediately destroyed another, and fled. You did everything in less than a minute." Gwen is right, Lex. It was quick and efficient, and nobody even had time to get hurt. You did everything right, Max said with a smile, patting me on the shoulder. I'm glad you liked it. But let's return to our clearing and go to sleep. Today I am exhausted, I answered with a tired smile. At this, Grandpa Max nodded and sat behind the wheel and drove us back. It was clear from Gwen that she still wanted to talk, apparently about the Omnitrix and grandfather's gun, which is also unusual, but she gave in when she saw that I was tired. And I really am drained. Having reached the clearing, I got off the bus, immediately turned into an XLR-8, and went to get the remains of the first robot. They will still be helpful to me. The robot that I absorbed is already useless because, having improved it, the upgrade cut off all connections with the Vilgax network, and now I cannot steal all of its data. And it makes no sense to disassemble it since it is whole, and as part of the upgrade, it is more valuable. Having coped with 4 runs in just a couple of minutes, I went to bed. Today has been a long day. Chapter 807. Intimate Talk, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekil11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Check out my side work One Piece, Nemo's Golden Lottery http URL. June 2, 2010. The following day, after breakfast, Gwen decided to find out the whole truth and started a conversation. So how do you know the name of this watch and what kind of pistol it was from grandfather? Gwen asked us with a severe face. Having exchanged glances with grandfather, we had a mental conversation and, sighing with resignation, decided to tell everything. You see, Gwen, this has to do with my job. Grandpa began his story. But you worked as a simple plumber. You often talked about this when we were little. Gwen said doubtfully. I did work as a plumber, but not an ordinary one. I was a plumber of the space. Answered Max. What kind of plumbers are in space? Gwen asked, just full of curiosity. This is an intergalactic law enforcement organization that protects planets in the universe from various alien threats and attacks. In fact, the Cosmic Police. Answered the grandfather instantly. And all this time, you knew that aliens exist? Gwen asked in shock. Yes. I have been a plumber for 40 years and have worked with many aliens to protect the Earth on more than one occasion. Said Max, with apparent nostalgia in his voice. He clearly misses his old adventures. You lied to us all this time that you're an ordinary person with a typical job? Gwen asked angrily. In fact, many family members know about it. But we usually don't discuss it because it's a sore subject for your father. I spent little time with him and his brother when they were children because of work. Said Max, wincing a little. What? Why didn't anyone tell me? Gwen roared, starting to walk back and forth angrily. I decided to take the floor, otherwise, she would soon pounce on grandfather. Calm down, Gwen. We didn't tell you about this because we wanted to protect you from this world and give you a chance for a normal life. Did you know everything? With a noticeable chill in her voice, asked Gwen. Yes. But no one told me anything. I realized many inconsistencies in my grandfather's stories and began to suspect him of leading a double life. At first, I thought he was some kind of government agent. While looking for evidence of this, I found all the alien equipment hidden in the bus. After that, grandfather had no choice but to tell me everything because he knew that I would not calm down until I found out everything. I said in a calm voice. And why then, you did not tell me anything? Gwen asked with resentment. I wanted to, I really wanted to. But I was forbidden to do it. Everyone thought it would be better this way. Yes, and this decision was made by your parents, and I did not want to go against them. But in my opinion, it was not very smart when you look at our origins. I drawled thoughtfully. What does our origin mean? Gwen asked with interest. It has to do with our grandmother. I answered. Then the grandfather continued to speak. You see, Gwen, 40 years ago I was going to become an astronaut and fly to the moon. But not long before that, I met my first alien. One day, when I was driving home, a spaceship crashed near me. Just before the ship's explosion, I managed to save the pilot. This pilot was Verdona. Your grandmother. But that means, Gwen said in shock. Yes, later I married her. And you and Lex have alien blood flowing in you. Max said, nodding his head. But why are we not different from people? Gwen asked, overcoming the shock. It has to do with the race of Verdona. She is anodite. In fact, she is an entirely energetic being consisting of magical energy, but she can take the form of a human. Ordinary people are often born from such a marriage, like your father's. And very rarely, a person is born with the gift of heaven. This means that they can use magic and become magician, and later discard their humanity and become a full-fledged anodite. Max said with a serious face. Do any of us have a gift from heaven? Gwen asked anxiously. I do not know this, answered Max. Actually, I know. I put in my 5 cents. At this, grandfather and Gwen looked at me in shock. But ignoring their astonishment, I continued. You see, Gwen, when I found out about the plumbers, I persuaded my grandfather to take me to their old base. There was a computer with the entire database of the plumbers. For the last 10 years, I have studied this data and learned a lot of exciting things. In the end, I ran a couple of tests on my blood and yours, and I learned something. Well, what did you find out? Gwen asked eagerly. And what did you learn? Simultaneously with her, asked Max. About you, as grandfather said, you are on 1/4 anodite. There is a 90% chance that you have a gift from heaven based on tests. If you practice magic, then you will definitely become a strong magician, I said with a smile. In fact, I did not conduct such a test, and I'm not sure if there is one at all. I just knew this, so I decided to please her and spur Gwen to the study of magic. Gwen only squeaked happily at my words and hugged me. And Max just looked at me in surprise. So what about you? Recovering from surprise, asked the grandfather. After his words, Gwen let me go, sat down in her seat, and waited for my answer. With me, everything is more complicated. As I found out, my mother was also not an ordinary person, and she was an 1/4 alien of a kind unknown to me. But it looks like it was a race with high intelligence and psionic abilities, and it looks like my 1/8 part has awakened and given me my high intelligence, I said. Then he pulled the can of soda on the edge of the table with the help of telekinesis. Gwen and Grandpa Max watched with wide eyes at the demonstration of my strength. What about the gift of heaven? Gwen asked. I most likely have it, but as far as I understand, I will never be as good as Gwen. I can become a magician, but for this, I will have to make a lot of effort and work much more than Gwen. What Gwen does on the 2nd or 3rd try, I can only do it on the 10th. I said with a shrug. And it was absolutely true. It looks like Gwen, even among the anodites, is exceptionally talented. I'm not that good, but I don't need it. I'm already full of abilities, I also have the Omnitrix now. Still shocked by my story, Grandpa Max decided to give us time to think about the new information. This was especially necessary for Gwen because just now, for her, the world literally turned upside down. An hour later, Gwen decided to ask me a question. So you found out about this watch from the files of the plumbers? And what is this Omnitrix of yours anyway? Yes. In fact, there is an absolute legend about this watch. This watch was created by an alien named Azimuth. He is considered the most intelligent creature in the galaxy. This watch was initially created to aid interspecies understanding and storage of the DNA of extinct species. As far as I understand, this was atonement for Azimuth himself. But of course, it all went wrong. The Omnitrix has tremendous potential. With him, you can become the strongest creature in the universe or create an army of different types of aliens. The hunt began for the clock. Apparently, there was a chase, and they had to be thrown to Earth, and the robots belonged to another hunter. But as far as I understood, they wanted to deliver them to you, grandfather. I said and looked at Max. To me? The grandfather asked in surprise. Yes, apparently, the legend about you has reached the creator. After looking a little, I found out that only you or your relative could wear the watch, and that is Tennyson. I nodded my head. Wow, grandfather, are you really that famous? Gwen asked enthusiastically. During my life, I managed to visit many places and do a lot. replied the grandfather modestly. Look, Lex, was there anything about magic in the plumber's files? Gwen asked hopefully. No, practically nothing, just how to feel mana and drive it through the body to increase physical characteristics. We will need to find books on magic ourselves. But don't worry, there are magicians on Earth, so we can find what we need. I said with a hopeful smile. Will you teach me how to feel mana? With the eyes of a puppy, asked Gwen. Of course, I just recently learned this myself. I answered. At my words, Gwen just smiled brightly and jumped with happiness. Apparently glad to know something magical. Okay, since everything has been decided, let's hit the road. It will be possible to talk on the way, said Grandfather Max and got up and went to the bus. For this, Gwen and I gathered all our things and went after him. And I also put the remains of the robot on the BU, we still need to disassemble them. Also, finally, we need to start dealing with the Omnitrix, otherwise, I'll be waiting for too long. Having entered the mobile home, we sat down more comfortably and hit the road. Chapter 908. Omnitrix Customization, edited. patrasteriskian.com/secil11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Check out my side work One Piece, Nemo's Golden Lottery HTTP URL. While we were driving to the next city, I decided to finally do what I had been putting off since yesterday. Namely, configure the Omnitrix. After telling the family that I wanted to be alone, I went to bed and drew the curtains for some privacy. Turning on the clock, I turned into Ditto. As always, after a 2-second transformation starting from the right hand, I turned into the chosen alien. In this form, I looked the same as Ben in the original, only all the elements are green, now blue. The Omnitrix sign itself is located on the chest. There will always be such changes since this is my color scheme. After examining myself and ensuring that everything was fine, I began to carry out my plan. Having created 2 clones, I turned the Omnitrix sign to the right, it did not move in the other direction, and I turned into myself by slapping it. The same action was repeated by my clones. After another flash of light, 3 completely identical me people were sitting on the bed. Such a trick Ben did once in the original story. True, there he used Echo, and it was already the Ultimatrix, and not the Omnitrix, as far as I remember. But I still hoped it would work. And it worked. It's unclear why Ben didn't do this anymore. Even in that episode, it was shown that his copies were emotionally unstable and had pronounced characteristic flaws. One was angry, the other a coward. But I hope that the focus here was the same as with Wrath, it just needed a higher intelligence to overcome psychological instability. Although, I relied more on my mind shield. As far as I can tell, my clones are completely fine. Although it is possible, this is due to the use of Ditto. Ditto has a pronounced weakness, the damage taken by one clone and others. Perhaps at the moment, this is a plus since we have a collective consciousness. So, having given the command to carry out my plan, I lay down on the bed. Turning on the Omnitrix, the first clone turned into a gray matter. It looked like the original, only there was a different black and blue suit, and the Omnitrix mark was on the back. Well, this is logical because there was nowhere else to put it. The second clone turned into an upgrade, which was still the same sleek and sparkling. After the transformation, the first one came to my watch and opened it. The second became a puddle and soaked into my Omnitrix. By my order, the upgrade did not go too deep and did not upgrade the watch, and it's too early for such experiments. After 3 minutes, the second clone returned and transmitted the information received. After hearing what he had to say, I ordered the humanoid to do several things, and I didn't do it myself because I trust Galvin more in the case of the Omnitrix. First, the clone turned on Master Control. Master Control is a special program in Omnitrix that provides the user with unlimited access to all watch functions. Now, the watch has no recharge time, and I can transform at any moment into any alien. Second, the clone enabled mental and verbal commands. Now I will not need to return to a person to become another alien. I just need to say or think about who I want to become, and I will become. I can also give commands to the Omnitrix. Thirdly, the clone turned on cloak mode. No one will be able to track me through the Omnitrix signal, possibly only Azimuth. And also, the watch will create a camouflage field around it. Now, everyone will see not the Omnitrix but a black bracelet with blue stones on it, somewhat similar to Morgana's bracelet. As soon as the battle begins, the disguise will subside. After that, I ordered the clones to turn off the transformation. 3 of me were sitting on the bed again. Now we all together again became Ditto, me with the help of a mental command, and clones in the old-fashioned way. Having become Ditto, I dispelled the clones and turned into myself again. The first thing I did was check myself, and everything was normal in terms of physiology and the psyche. In fact, this caused wild relief because, despite all my intelligence, I was very nervous. Now you can relax unless, of course, I broke my watch. Looking at my watch, I noticed that it had changed. Now the Omnitrix has become more like a watch, not a bracelet. The watch strap has narrowed and acquired a white line. The dial was still blue, and the activation button has moved closer to the dial. It feels like a mixture of first and second generation watches. But I like it even better. After seeing the clock changes, I decided to test the cloaking mode. Indeed, everything works, and the Omnitrix has become like a bracelet as if made of black gold. Looks very good on me and goes well with another bracelet. Deciding to continue checking the clock, I pressed the button. As always, the dial popped up and changed from the emblem to the silhouette of an alien. After checking the heroes, a surprise awaited me. The 14th alien has opened. I didn't expect this, but maybe it was a gift for opening the master control. The 14th available alien was Feedback, an alien of the Canuctoid race. Its main ability is to absorb any energy, even Manu, and redirect it to attack enemies. Undoubtedly a useful hero, but to be honest, I never found him any special, but Ben loved him very much. With that done, I decided to test my mental commands. At first, I turned into Feedback, who looked like 11-year-old Ben, then I decided to go full circle and turn into all aliens. It took me less than a minute, considering I did it 2 times. Yet one problem was found. Since the Omnitrix database, the aliens are called by their races, I cannot call them by nicknames. For example, if I think or say Heat Blast, I will not turn into anyone, and if Pyronite, everything will work. It's good that the visual teams are working, and I can imagine the hero's appearance to become him. That's just for this, I included mental commands. First of all, to all available aliens, I added nicknames to the names of their races. It turned out like this. 1. Pyronite Heat Blast. 2. Tetramand 4 Arms. 3. Petrosapian Diamond Head. 4. Galvan Gray Matter. 5. Galvanic Mechamorph Upgrade. 6. Vulpamancer Wild Mutt. 7. Lepidopteran Stinkfly. 8. Ectonurite Ghost Freak. 9. Pisxisvalan Ripjaws. 10. Kinoceleran XLR8. 11. Apoplexian Rat. 12. Splixin Ditto. 13. Aerophibian Jet Ray. 14. Conductoid Feedback. At the moment, these are all aliens available to me. Having finished with this, I decided to continue giving commands. First, I completely removed the sounds made by the Omnitrix when it turns on, recharges, etc. I never liked them, and now they are of little use. Left only when the Omnitrix reports on new DNA material. After that, I set the brightness of the light during transformation to the minimum low level. Otherwise, it was very pale. Now, when I transform, the Omnitrix does not emit any sounds, and the light illuminates only the outline of my body. Then I started setting passwords and all kinds of protection. First of all, he appointed himself the owner and only himself. Now no one but me can put on a watch. I added a genetic and psionic signature to it. He scans this too. But not only that. Now, if someone, for example, moves into my body or takes control over me, the Omnitrix will be blocked. You can only unlock it with the password that I have set. And only I know the password, and I hid it in the backyard of my memory under the protection of reason. It will not work to pick it up because, in this world, no one knows such words, they came from my old world. Also made one function. If the Omnitrix is removed from me, it will again be blocked. But if the watch finds me within a radius of 3 meters, it will jump into my hand, as it already happened at the beginning. Also, if someone takes the watch and tries to put it on, the Omnitrix will release thin needles across its entire surface that injure anyone except me. Now, I can easily take off my watch, but why would I need it? Turning on my disguise and getting out of bed, I walked to the front of the bus and sat down opposite Gwen. Noticing a bracelet instead of Omnitrix, she immediately asked me, "Lex, where is your watch? And what is this bracelet?" To her questions, I touched my finger to the black bracelet, and because of the touch, ripples went through it, and it again became the Omnitrix. I was able to find and enable disguise mode. No one will find us at their signal, and no one will notice that I have a strange watch. When I finished speaking, the watch itself became a bracelet again. Cool. Why do they look different now? Gwen asked. It's because of the disguise. I lied because I'm too lazy to tell everything. At that very moment, we arrived in Washington. It has already started to get dark, and soon it will be sunset. There will be a fire in this city. I hope we will not miss it. Chapter 10:09. Fire and Dr. Animo, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekel11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Check out my side work One Piece, Nemo's Golden Lottery HTTP URL. Having entered Washington, we went to the city center. 30 minutes after sunset, we drove up to the Capitol, where we saw a fire a few blocks from our location. I told my grandfather to stay near the house where the fire was, as I wanted to help. When we arrived, I got off the bus and turned on my glasses to check how many people were in danger. By the way, about the glasses, I didn't talk about them. These are no ordinary glasses. Why do I need glasses? I already have perfect vision, even better than all ordinary people, because of my body. I created these glasses, just in case, 2 months ago. They look like the most straightforward glasses with black frames, and they are made from alien materials and are practically indestructible. The glasses have many valuable functions built in, and most importantly, I can access Morgana's interface and the internet. They also have a built-in zoom. There is a function of night and thermal vision. In addition, I added something like a sonar to them, which can scan a specific area and find enemies, even through walls. Batman had a similar thing too. There is also a camera that captures everything that I see. Plus, there is a phone, and as a nice bonus, they can become sunglasses. I'm very proud of them, a helpful thing. Gwen will have to make similar ones later. First of all, I scanned the house and found 3 people on the second floor, judging by the silhouettes of a girl, and on the third floor, 1 woman and a child. Morgana, are the firefighters coming soon? Also, check who started the fire. I said to my virtual assistant. They'll need another 5 minutes. According to the cameras, the 2 bandits are guilty, who broke into the jewelry store on the first floor and started a fire to distract attention. My AI answered me. It's terrible, people won't last that long. Okay, I'll have to do it myself. I said to myself. Having warned my grandfather and Gwen what I was going to do, and having received a wish for good luck, I hid behind a bush and, with the help of a mental command, turned into Pyronite. In my opinion, this is the most helpful alien in this situation. After the transformation, which was reduced by half a second, I examined myself. And I noticed the differences from the original. First, the color of my flame. It was bright white, which means I am much hotter than Ben. And the stones themselves, of which I consisted, were black, like solidified lava. Secondly, I had shorts made of an incomprehensible material that withstood all my heat. That's better, otherwise, I don't want to go naked. Immediately after that, I ran to the house. With the help of the flame from my legs, I jumped to the second floor while breaking the window in one jump. Once inside, the first thing I did was consume the flame. It came out entirely instinctively and very simply. I think I could put out the volcano. After going through a couple of rooms and putting out the fire there, I found 3 girls who were now coughing and huddling against the wall, trying to escape the flames. Quickly putting out all the fire in the room, without saying a word, I knocked out the window and, with the help of the flame, created a whirlwind that carried the girls away. They did not even have time to squeak, as they were already on the street, completely intact and without burns. But these tricks with flame are much more challenging to do. To do this requires concentration and complete control over the fire. But this is not so problematic, because I am the flame itself. Seeing that the girls were okay, and they were already taken over by the doctors who arrived a couple of minutes ago, I went to the 3rd floor. I also consumed the fire until I found a mother and her child in one of the apartments. At the last moment, I managed to catch the boards from the ceiling that fell on them. I repeated the same process with a swirl of flame through the window as before, pulling them off. But this time, I went down with them since I had already saved all the people inside. After landing on the street, the woman quickly grabbed her son, looking at me with stars in his eyes, and ran away towards the ambulance. Standing near the still burning building, I raised both hands and consumed all the fire. Previously, I could not do this because I could injure the people there. When there was nothing left of the fire, I nodded my head in satisfaction. Satisfied with my work, I ran to the side of the thieves who had left. Since the people were still in shock, I could safely escape. After running about 40 meters and making sure that no one could see me, with one thought, I turned into an XLR-8. It looked the same as the original except for the extra blue lines. After that, I ran after the thieves at my own speed. I found them after 20 seconds. At that moment, they were pursued by the police. Deciding that I needed to finish with them quickly, I overtook them and, with a flash of light, became 4 arms. Which, by the way, was the same as Ben's, only with blue elements of clothing instead of white and eyes of a different color. I appeared right in front of the car and scared the bandits with this. The driver immediately hit the brakes. The car stopped 10 centimeters from me. Wasting no time, I smashed the car's windshield and pulled out these 2 grief thieves. And quickly hit them on the head with each other, and they immediately lost consciousness. Throwing them on the hood, I became the XLR-8 again and dashed off to the bus, leaving the bandits to the cops who had just arrived. Not far from the bus, I became myself. Approaching them, I saw that Gwen and Grandpa were looking at the already cooling house. Boo! Sneaking up behind them, I shouted. At this, Gwen and Grandpa jumped up in fright. God, Lex, don't do that anymore, I nearly died of fear. By the way, where have you been? Gwen said, clutching her heart. The fire was staged by thieves to divert attention. After putting out the fire, I went after them. I replied calmly. Everything is fine? Did you catch them? Max asked me. Yes, the police have already taken them. Let's go to the hotel and go to bed already. I am exhausted. To my words, they just nodded and got on the bus. We went to the nearest hotel, sitting down and fastening our seatbelts. Having rented 2 rooms there, one for Gwen and one for me and my grandfather, we all went to bed. June 3, 2010. The next day we went to the new shopping center, which was not far from our hotel, to buy groceries for our onward journey. Just as we were walking downtown, Dr. Animo showed up. He broke through the wall on a giant frog and tried to steal some tools. In his 50s, Dr. Animo was a man, 165 centimeters in height, with long white hair and yellow-green skin. He had a helmet on his head, red glasses on his eyes, headphones on his ears, and a transmodulator on his chest. Wasting no time while Dr. Animo was busy with the robbery, I hid behind the counter and turned into the ghost freak. I looked exactly the same as in the original. Becoming invisible, I flew to Animo. Once near him, I immediately possessed his body and took complete control over him. Because of this, his eyes turned blue and black lines appeared around them, but this was not visible under the glasses. Descending from the back of the frog and using the modulator, I returned it to its original size, after which it rode off somewhere. After removing all of Dr. Animo's equipment, I put it on the floor. And he, turning his face to the wall, ran to it with all available speed. Before the collision, I left his body. After crashing into the wall, the doctor lost consciousness. Instead, he will all have a concussion. Well, nothing, it will be helpful for him to lie down in the hospital for months. Anyway, he will not be put in prison for a long time because he did not really have time to do anything. Taking Animo's device, I flew to the bus. Putting all the equipment near the robot's remains, I returned to Gwen and Max and became human again. I will disassemble the device itself and find out how it works. After all, this thing can increase any individual using its genetics, which can be very helpful in the future. When I found Gwen and Grandpa, I told them what had happened. Then we finished shopping and moved on. Chapter 11, 10. Kraken, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekal11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Check out my side work One Piece, Nemo's Golden Lottery HTTP URL. While we were on the road, I decided to do one thing that I wanted to do right after receiving the Omnitrix. I took blood, or rather a DNA sample, from all my aliens. After transforming into all the aliens, in turn, I took samples. True, it was not easy with everyone. For example, to take the blood of Pyronite, I had to use a special metal needle that could withstand high temperatures. And also, prepare a container for blood, which looked like liquid lava and had a similar temperature. I needed Gwen's help to take the blood of the Widmut, and I took a piece of Upgrade's body. With Diamond Head, I did the same, only took more of his crystals for experiments. It consists of Tadenite, the rarest crystal in the universe used as a power source for spacecraft engines and is used as currency throughout the galaxy, including the underground city below Bellwood. So, now I am also rich, not only by the standards of the Earth but also of the galaxy, because I have an unlimited supply of Tadenite. With the Ghost Freak, unexpectedly, there were no problems. It turns out he has blood. But I also put it in a special container so that Zayscare would not get out of there, and it was already easier with everyone else. When I finished taking samples, I put the DNA flasks in a special refrigerator for storing analyses, turned into XLR8, and ran home. I put the refrigerator in a safe, which was in the basement, next to Morgana's server. And on the bus, I left only a few small samples for future experiments. "Why did you take the DNA of all your aliens?" Gwen asked me when I returned. "I want to do some analyses and tests to better understand my transformation and learn more about the aliens themselves." I answered the question of Gwen and Max's grandfather, who also listened to our conversation. "Then why did you take some of the samples home?" Gwen asked again. "You see, as far as I know, the Omnitrix also has a DNA scanner. If we meet an alien that is not available to me, I can scan it and later turn into this alien. But since I still do not know the clock itself, I decided to play it safe and stock up on the DNA of those aliens I already have if suddenly I lose the opportunity to turn into them one day. Then I'll just scan the samples and get access to this race again," I said, knowing full well that similar incidents happened to Ben. At my words, Max and Gwen nodded, and apparently realizing that everything was logical, they did not ask more questions. I decided to run a couple of tests with alien blood during the trip. I took the equipment from home, I created it, especially for this. 3 hours later, we arrived at the lake. Grandpa Max stopped the bus right on the beach so we could swim or fish. According to the canon, the Kraken lives here. I had already decided that it would be best to deal with the smugglers right away, so after informing the family that I wanted to take a walk, I set off to carry out my plan. Moving away from the camp, I turned into XLR8 by the power of thought and ran towards the factory where Jonah and his people lived. Once there, after 10 seconds, I turned into a ghost, became invisible, and went on reconnaissance. When I flew inside, I saw 3 people, and it was John Melville and 2 of his henchmen. At the moment, they were discussing their plan to find and steal the Kraken's eggs. They also checked their equipment for serviceability. Hiding behind boxes, with a flash of light, I became XLR8 again. Taking the iron crowbar on one of the boxes, I accelerated and knocked out all the smugglers with a blow, this crowbar, on the head. They didn't even have time to understand anything. Then it will be necessary to make a weapon against people, something like a shocker or a tranquilizer pistol, otherwise, it's not human. Having tied all 3 with a rope in the warehouse, I moved on. First of all, I found their computer, from which I downloaded all the information about their dark deeds. It was lucky that they also had a printer, so I immediately printed everything and put a stack of papers on their bodies. Then I destroyed all their equipment. I didn't take any of this, because there was only Earth technology. All that they had, I could create myself. I took only part of my diving suit as a keepsake. Finally, I asked Morgana to send a report to the police about the smugglers. After ensuring that everything was ready, I ran out of the warehouse and hid in the woods. I watched as the police arrived 10 minutes later and tied up all 3. The dirt I dug upon them will be enough for 5 years in prison. Maybe when they come out, they will change and start a law-abiding lifestyle. Although unlikely, such people do not change. Then I went to the camp, where I found Gwen, who already wanted to go looking for me. After convincing her that everything was in order, we went to the side. June 4, 2010. The following day Grandpa Max woke us up early, and we went to the pier. Captain Shaw, a local madman and kraken hunter from whom Grandpa rented a boat for fishing, was waiting for us. Gwen didn't want to fish, she decided to stay on the beach and sunbathe, so my grandfather and I went fishing together. On the way to the fishing spot, the captain told us about his obsession with the kraken. Grandpa was very skeptical about this, which is strange given his experience, but I decided not to overpersuade him. Since I finished with the smugglers yesterday, there was no attack from the kraken, and he lay quietly at the bottom of the lake with his eggs. And while I was thinking about it, I had a brilliant idea. It will be necessary to implement it. The fishing itself took us several hours. We returned to dinner without catching anything. Having dined all together, we went our separate ways. Gwen went to sunbathe again, and Grandpa went for a walk along the beach, searching for delicacies for dinner. I decided to test my idea. Taking the Animo transmodulator out of the box, I began to disassemble it. After learning how he works, I had to admit that even though Dr. Animo is a nutcase, he has a lot of brains. I can create such technology too, but this is not my specialty, so it would be worse, and I would use alien tools and materials. And this, by the way, is 7-level technology, and Animo created it practically from garbage, and even this thing works great. I am impressed. Of course, there were not enough parts, but the remains of the Vilgax robot came in handy. I replaced a couple of unreliable elements, added a couple of components, and made it work underwater. Also changed the power supply. And voila, the transmodulator is fully functional and even more advanced. Now he not only increases but also decreases them. After asking Morgana to analyze Animo's DNA enlarger/reducer for problems and shortcomings and confirming that everything was working, I went to the lake. Finding a secluded spot and making sure no one saw me, I transformed into Ripjaws. I looked exactly like the original, only more clothes and bluer. Having put on the equipment, I searched for the Kraken, which I found an hour later at the bottom of the lake. The Kraken that was now lying and hugging his balls, noticing me, showed alertness. But when he felt that I did not want him to harm, he began to look at me with curiosity. In the meantime, I swam closer to him and carefully examined him. Quite an entertaining animal. The kraken is a giant freshwater underwater creature. Judging by the behavior with the eggs, this is a female. It has 4 webbed legs, a fin tail, and 2 tentacles that protrude from its mouth like 2 other arms. She has blue eyes, gold teeth, 6 gills on her neck. The upper part of her body is deep blue, and the lower part is olive green. My idea was to help the kraken, and I wanted to reduce it by 5 times and leave it alone. Since she is so large, many have noticed her existence, but she still manages to hide at the same time. If I reduce it and leave it to live here, it will hardly ever be found, and it will be better for both the kraken and the people. While the kraken was just staring at me, I decided to act. Switching the regulator down, I fired a beam of energy at Mommy. Everything worked as it should, and it decreased in seconds. Now she was only 3 meters in size, and I think this is the perfect size for her safe life. While the kraken had not yet regained consciousness after shrinking, I shrunk her eggs so that they would be born small right away. After, I tried to implement my other idea. Namely, he ordered the Omnitrix to scan the kraken. Unfortunately, nothing worked. The cold voice of the Omnitrix AI sounded in my head, informing me that the given species representative did not meet the criteria for the device. This means that I cannot scan kraken's DNA and transform it into it. I was not told what criteria the Omnitrix has, but I think I know at least 2 of them. The first criterion is humanoid and / or near humanoid physique. Still, most sentient races have this type of physique. Of course, there are exceptions everywhere, but now it is not about that. The second criterion developed intelligence, at least its self-awareness and self-identity. There are exceptions here, too. The most suitable is wild mutt, but this criterion fits most of my aliens. Perhaps there are some other criteria unknown to me, but I think that this is not so important. Apparently, the Omnitrix believes that the kraken is not suitable for transformation. Well, I didn't really want to. In fact, the origin of this creature itself is not even clear. It could be an alien, it could be some kind of government experiment, or it could be a mutant, or it could be a cryptid. I even got curious, so while the kraken was trying to figure out what had happened, I swam up to her and tore off some scales. Then I'll do a couple of tests sometime. Apparently, she didn't like that I got to her, so she growled at me but didn't attack, but swam away to hell, taking her eggs simultaneously. Watching her float away, I was satisfied that I was able to help the poor creature and her children. With one last glance at her, I swam to the surface. When I had already swam quite far, I heard the kraken scream. I thought it was a cry of gratitude, at least I hope. Arriving ashore, I became a human and went to the camper. Putting Animo's invention back in the box, I decided to test the Omnitrix as I thought I felt a vibration. Turning on the Omnitrix and scrolling the dial, I saw that after feedback, another silhouette of an alien appeared. It's not clear why it would have opened, perhaps because of the first attempt at a DNA scan, which was unsuccessful, and it's a consolation prize, but I don't mind. As I said, the more, the better. Judging by the silhouette, it is some kind of robotic humanoid. It was pretty hard to figure out who he was, so I quickly turned around to find out. After a brief flash of light, I assumed the form of a new alien and recognized him almost immediately. Now I looked like a red metal alien. I had 2 containers of water on my head, and around my eyes, there were black markings that looked like masks. I also have 2 tubes of water running from the respirator, where the mouth should be, to my back and forearms, which are also filled with water. The Omnitrix symbol was on the chest. It was Overflow, the alien that appeared in the reboot of the original series that I hadn't watched. It is not difficult to notice the apparent similarity of this alien to the water hazard, but they are still different aliens with very similar appearance and abilities. I don't know much about Overflow, but I'm sure he has hydrokinesis and its associated powers. Such a hero will definitely come in handy for me, so I'm not against his appearance. But now, I was too lazy to do anything, so I decided to postpone my acquaintance with Overflow until tomorrow. I decided to spend the rest of the day on the beach with Gwen. Chapter 12:11. Overflow, edited. patrasteriskian.com/sekel11. Check out my Patrasteriskian if you want to get a few chapters in advance. Editor, Chiron_Ambrosius. Check out my side work One Piece, Nemo's Golden Lottery http URL. June 5, 2010. The next day, we were still at the lake. After breakfast, we went about our business again. Grandpa went fishing with Captain Shaw again, and Gwen went to sunbathe again. I decided to test the abilities and powers of Overflow because I knew little about him. First, I asked Morgana to check the plumber's database and search for all the available information about the Overflow race. She did find something. Firstly, the race of Overflow was called the Cascan, and secondly, the homeland of the Cascan race is the planet Cascaro, which is located in the Andromeda Galaxy. In addition to their appearance and similar abilities, Overflow and Water Hazard also have a common homeland. In fact, the planet Kusana, home of the Water Hazard, is in the same sector as the planet Cascaro and can be called neighbors. Apparently, these planets are practically twins and have very similar conditions, which led to these two races, Cascan and Orishan, having much in common. Yet they are fundamentally different. Suppose the Water Hazard is a creature that is somewhat reminiscent of a shellfish in its structure and has a natural exoskeleton. In that case, Overflow is a spirit of water, enclosed in a robotic suit, necessary for a safe life on their planet. This is all that Morgana managed to get. After all, the Andromeda Galaxy is not included in the jurisdiction of the plumbers of space, and it's even surprising that we were able to find out so much. As for the abilities of the Overflow, as I said before, they are related to water. Considering that 95% of the planet Cascaro is covered with water, this is not surprising. And do not forget that they are primarily water spirits, albeit in a tin can. I was sure that Overflow could survive underwater and withstand the enormous pressure of the depths, so when I approached the lake, I turned into it and swam away from the beach. Cascan, of course, was slower than Pisxisvalan, Ripjaws, but also swam pretty fast. In addition, I quickly mastered one trick that significantly accelerated swimming. I have containers with water in my forearms, which the main body creates, and I can send condensed streams of water from my hands parallel to my body, and if I do this underwater, I can swim very quickly. I found a secluded spot after swimming for about 10 minutes, accelerated by water currents. On the shore stood some kind of factory, which had apparently been abandoned long ago. After getting ashore in the form of Overflow, I decided to check a few things. First, I became human again and took off my glasses and bracelet with Morgana. When I become an alien, I lose access to Morgan, which is undoubtedly a disadvantage, and it will need to be addressed in the future. Putting my bracelet and glasses on a boulder near the shore, I turned on the camera on my glasses and called a holographic projection of Morgana. Well, beauty, you know what to do. Record my tests of the Overflow and scan all the information gathered. I said to Morgana. Of course, dear, everything will be done in the best possible way. With a bright smile, the AI answered me. Smiling at her, I turned into Cascan again. Then he began to perform several tests. First, we checked if Overflow has any restrictions on breathing in the fresh air. After all, he is primarily an underwater inhabitant, but it turned out that there is no difference in what environment Overflow is, he can be both underwater and on the surface. It is possible that the Cascans do not need air for life. After all, they are spirits, and maybe they can survive in a vacuum. After that, we checked the physical data of Overflow. Thanks to the armored exoskeleton, I have super strength and super dexterity in this form. To be precise, I can lift 20 tons of weight and run at 60 km/h. All these indicators increase by 3 to 4 times in water. The exoskeleton of Overflow itself is made of durable but lightweight metal that does not sink in water and withstands all the harsh conditions inherent in living in the ocean's depths. This indirectly gives me super durability. The water containers on the forearms and head and the tubes leading to the respirator are made of heavy-duty glass that can withstand enormous pressure, but it is less durable than the base metal is a clear weak point. Finally, I decided to test the primary ability of overflow hydrokinesis. As I said, I can let go of the water that my main body produces. Of course, this water is not infinite. The containers contain 30 tons of water, and you can't say that much, but it looks like they have some kind of spatial pocket, and if I use up the entire supply, I will be left without ammunition. If such a situation occurs, all that remains is to wait for the main body to produce more water. Fortunately, this happens quickly enough. Initially, I thought that I could control any nearby water, but all my attempts to subdue the water from the lake have been unsuccessful. So, we can conclude that the only water that I can control is my water. Perhaps because it was created by my main body and saturated with my energy, and the water from the lake has nothing to do with me, so it does not obey. But, all my water is under my complete control. I can do anything with her. Change to any form, be it any animal or weapon, change the state of aggregation, though then I will lose control, and much more. Realizing that I was capable of this, I decided to pull off one famous trick from Naruto. After waiting for the containers to fill up again, I stood in front of the lake, stretched out my hand forward, and said, "For pathos. Water release, water dragon bullet technique." A powerful jet of water under pressure flew out of my hand, which soon changed its shape and turned into an eastern dragon. The water dragon flew a few meters, then crashed into the lake's water surface, which led to a powerful explosion and the creation of a geyser. "Not bad," I drawled, looking at the work of my own hands. This was the last test I wanted to do with overflow, so that's about it. I have learned enough about the powers of this alien, and I can say that I am satisfied. This is a great alien with outstanding abilities. In fact, I have noticed a lot of similarities between overflow and heat blast. Yes, they use different, opposite elements, but their abilities are very similar since they both can produce their element and freely control it. Pyronite has long been shown to be helpful, so its watery antipode is unlikely to be any less valid. Having transformed into a human, I put on a bracelet and glasses, after which I displayed a video with me on their glass, in the form of overflow. Sometimes it can be constructive to look at yourself from the outside. After watching the entire tape, I became even happier that I received this alien. Overflow is much more powerful and valuable than Ripjaws. But sometimes, Ripjaws will still be better due to its agility. I especially love the Overflow water cutter. High-pressure water can cut through almost anything. For the emergency DNA storage, I took some water, as it contained the energy of the main body, and the Omnitrix was capable of scanning even that. After finishing with everything, I turned into XLR8, and in 5 seconds, I was already at the RV. Grandpa and Gwen had just returned. "Where have you been?" Gwen asked me curiously when I sat down at the table and began to eat another culinary masterpiece of my grandfather. It seems they were crickets. "Checked out the new alien," I answered, chewing a cricket. "Is that the one with the power sockets and the tail? What did you call him there?" "Come back?" Gwen asked me. "His name is Feedback." And no, I was testing another new alien. I said, "Do you have another newbie? What does he look like? And what did you call him?" Gwen pounced on me with questions. "Yes, there is a new 15th, and I named it Overflow. Let me tell you about him later." "And then I really want to eat," I asked. "Okay, but you will definitely tell me everything," said, not too pleased, Gwen. After a quiet lunch, we all went to the beach together, swam, and sunbathed. After spending the rest of the day on the beach, we had dinner and went to bed because tomorrow we are leaving. June 6, 2010. The next day we continued our journey. While we were driving, I remembered what I wanted to do. Taking out all my tools, I sat down at the table and began to invent. 20 minutes later, I had a shot pistol in my hands. He looked like an ordinary black taser. But I actually used several alien components. I installed a few parts from the Vilgax robot and something else. Despite his simple appearance, he can even knock out the 4 arms. Although the entire charge is used, it's still cool. You can even charge it through an outlet, and it only takes a few seconds. Gwen all this time looked at me with curiosity but did not distract me. When I finished, she decided to ask a question. "What is it?" "This is an ordinary taser, and it can even knock out a wrestler in just a couple of seconds," I said casually. "Why do you need it?" Gwen asked, not seeing the logic in creating a simple shocker. "I made it for human use. When I dealt with the smugglers, I used a crowbar. This is not good. After all, I could have killed them by accident if I had not calculated the strength. Or those thugs from Washington, I had to knock each other out to knock them out. I thought that for those like them, it is better to create such a shocker, and quickly, and not dangerous." Yes, I told Gwen and Grandpa about the smugglers. They ultimately agreed with my decision about the Kraken and these rogues. Only Gwen was a little offended that I did not invite her with me. And Max was proud that I did everything right. "Clear. Can you do one for me too?" Gwen asked with sparkling eyes. After thinking a little, I decided to make her the same, just in case. After creating the second shocker, I taught Gwen how to use it. Since it has several modes, just in case. By the way, despite the power, these shocker pistols were small and light. Only 15 centimeters long, they can easily fit into a pocket. Grandpa Max stopped at a gas station just as we finished dealing with the shocker. After getting off the bus, we went to an ice cream shop to buy a treat. And Max went to the ATM. Max POV. While the children went to get ice cream, I decided to withdraw money from the card and therefore went to the ATM. While I was dealing with the ATM, a bull in a cap came up from behind. "Come on, you old fool, now I will withdraw money, go out." Having said this, the bully pushed me to the ground because of what I fell. After that, he took a hook from his pickup truck and poked it through the ATM. After giving a sign to his accomplice that he was driving the car, he stepped aside. Just as the second gunman was about to turn on the gas, Lex and Gwen came out of the store. Seeing the whole situation, they simultaneously pulled out of their pockets the shock pistols that Lex had only recently made and aimed each at their own gunman. Without a word, they pulled the trigger. Shockers fired small darts, which knocked out the bandits with electricity in just a couple of seconds. Having finished with them, they came over and helped me up. "Everything is fine now, grandfather, and the police should be called," Lex said, as usual with his calm face. I nodded at his words and called the police. After they were taken away, we went to the bus. When we sat down, I told them the good news that the next destination was the house of my sister Vera.